At the edge of the known universe, there exists a shadow so vast it could swallow galaxies whole. TON 618, a black hole so massive it defies imagination. Over 66 billion times the mass of our Sun, it consumes light, time, and reason itself. From its heart, energy bursts brighter than entire galaxies, yet nothing escapes its grasp. What could exist inside something that vast? What secrets lie beyond its event horizon, and what happens to space, to time, to us in its presence? Like and subscribe if you enjoy exploring the mysteries of our universe. Consider joining our journey through the stars every day. Now, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let's begin. Far beyond the Virgo cluster, TON 618 waits, a silent titan from the dawn of time. Its event horizon alone could engulf our entire solar system, stretching over 390 billion kilometers wide. Yet, even from that impossible distance, it radiates with a light so fierce that it outshines galaxies. It is the largest known black hole in the observable universe, a cosmic leviathan whose mass equals 66 billion suns, a figure so staggering it dissolves the scale of imagination. To put it simply, if our solar system orbited within its borders, the entire distance from the Sun to Pluto would be swallowed with room to spare. TON 618 is not merely large, it is the embodiment of cosmic excess, the universe's grand experiment in infinity. When astronomers first identified this quasar in the 1980s, they weren't prepared for what they found. It appeared as a faint point of light in the constellation Canes Venatici, nearly 10 billion light-years away. Its light had travelled across most of the universe's history just to reach us, the echo of an age when galaxies were still young and the first stars burned with reckless brilliance. That light was impossibly bright, brighter than any natural object had a right to be. It was as though the universe itself had set a beacon in the dark, marking where gravity's hunger had gone too far. At the centre of that beacon lies the black hole, an invisible sphere of gravity so intense that nothing, not even light, can escape once it crosses the boundary known as the event horizon. Yet paradoxically, the very matter that falls toward its death lights up the cosmos. Around TON 618, clouds of superheated gas spiral inward, colliding, compressing, and glowing with such energy that they form one of the most luminous quasars ever observed. Imagine standing 1 trillion kilometers away, watching the void consume suns like embers. The accretion disk, the blazing ring of material swirling around the black hole, would shine with the brilliance of entire galaxies. Magnetic fields twist and snap within it, flinging arcs of plasma into space at near light speed. Each spark, each collision, releases more energy than all the stars in our Milky Way combined. And yet, at its centre, there is nothing to see. No surface, no core, no sound. Just a sphere of absence where space folds in on itself. TON 618's gravity stretches time and distance beyond meaning, bending the very fabric of reality. If you were to fall toward it, you would never arrive. From the outside, you'd appear frozen at the edge, your image smeared by gravitational lensing, an eternal silhouette against the brightest fire in the cosmos. Astronomers still struggle to explain how such a monstrosity came to be so early in the universe's history. To reach this size, TON 618 must have consumed matter at a rate far beyond what theory allows. Perhaps it was born from a chain of galactic mergers, or from the collapse of primordial stars that dwarfed anything known today. Its existence whispers of a time when the universe was raw and untamed, when gravity built giants faster than our equations can comprehend. TON 618 is not just an object. It's a reminder that nature is under no obligation to be reasonable, that beyond the thin veil of human understanding lies a scale of creation and destruction that humbles even our most daring imagination. Somewhere out there, across the black tapestry of the cosmos, this silent colossus waits, patient, eternal, devouring the light that dares to approach. yet illuminating the universe with its hunger. In its shadow, we remember just how small we truly are, and how magnificent the universe must be to birth a monster like this. How can something that traps light shine brighter than a galaxy? The answer lies in the swirling maelstrom of gas and plasma spiraling into its maw. The accretion disk, heated to billions of degrees until it glows with blinding ferocity. The paradox of a black hole's brilliance begins here. In this chaotic storm of falling matter, every atom drawn into TON 618 is pulled by gravity so immense that it accelerates to nearly the speed of light. Collisions between these atoms create unimaginable heat, hotter than the core of any star, reaching tens of billions of degrees. At these temperatures, matter becomes plasma, a radiant sea of charged particles emitting light across every wavelength, from radio waves to X-rays so powerful they can pierce through entire galaxies. This radiant inferno is what we see when we observe a quasar. It is not the black hole itself that shines, but the tragedy unfolding around it. Every particle of gas fights a futile battle against the inevitable. As it spirals inward, friction tears it apart, energy converts into radiation, and for a fleeting moment before it vanishes forever, it blazes brighter than 1,000 suns. From Earth, TON 618's accretion disk appears as a point of light so intense that it rivals the glow of hundreds of billions of stars combined. To gaze at it through a telescope is to look at a wound in space-time, a place where the universe itself burns with the energy of destruction. If we could see it up close, the light would be unbearable, white-blue, searing, stretching the limits of visibility. The sheer luminosity would outshine entire constellations, yet beyond that, brilliance lies absolute blackness. The interplay between darkness and light here is more than poetic, it's physical. Gravity compresses and confines, while motion releases heat and radiation. The black hole takes, but the accretion disk gives. It's the universe's most violent contradiction, creation born from annihilation. Magnetic fields twist through this whirlpool like invisible tendrils, guiding streams of plasma into tightly wound paths. In some regions, these fields become so strong that they fling matter away from the disk entirely, launching jets that travel for millions of light years. The result is a structure of staggering complexity, a balance of falling and escaping, of brightness and shadow, of energy and silence. If you could somehow hover safely above TON 618's disk, an impossible feat, you would witness colors and distortions no human eye has ever seen. The immense gravity would bend light in all directions, creating a shimmering halo of reflections, a circular mirage where the front, back, and sides of the disk all appear at once. Time itself would stretch. Seconds near the disk would pass as hours for a distant observer. The photons that manage to escape this gravitational abyss begin an odyssey across billions of years of space. Each beam of light, each particle of radiation, tells the story of matter's final cry before surrender. And yet, even after 10 billion years of travel, those photons still carry the fingerprint of the accretion disk's fury, proof that from the deepest darkness, light not only survives, but flourishes. TON 618's brilliance reminds us that even the most destructive forces in the universe give rise to unimaginable beauty. Its light, born in violence, travels through eternity, illuminating distant galaxies, igniting our curiosity, and whispering a cosmic truth. Even in the blackest night, there can exist the brightest fire. From its poles erupt relativistic jets, beams of pure energy traveling at nearly the speed of light. These jets stretch for millions of light years, visible across the cosmos, lighthouses in a sea of darkness. They are among the most awe-inspiring structures in the universe, threads of light and power woven through the void. Each jet originates from the chaos surrounding TON 618's accretion disk, where magnetic fields twist and snap like cosmic whips. As matter spirals toward oblivion, those magnetic forces channel a fraction of the infalling energy upward and downward, launching twin beams that pierce the intergalactic night. To grasp their scale is to confront the limits of imagination. A single jet from TON 618 could span the distance between galaxies, carrying enough energy to outshine entire star clusters. Within these narrow corridors of radiation, particles are accelerated to nearly light speed, colliding with the thin gas of intergalactic space and causing it to glow. To distant telescopes, the result appears as a radiant streak cutting through the dark, a beacon of impossible power marking where a black hole feeds. Imagine standing within sight of one of these jets. Somewhere in the outskirts of TON 618's ancient galaxy, the sky would not be black but alive, a pillar of light stretching endlessly above, shimmering with ghostly blues and purples, its brilliance flickering as waves of plasma spiral outward. If you could hear energy, the sound would be a deep, resonant hum, vibrating through space itself. The mechanism behind these jets remains one of astronomy's great mysteries. How can a black hole, a place from which nothing escapes, hurl matter across millions of light years? The answer may lie in the violent dance between gravity and magnetism. As matter races around the event horizon, magnetic fields twist into tight coils, storing vast amounts of energy. When those coils unwind, they catapult streams of charged particles into space, not from inside the black hole, but from the storm just outside it. In a sense, TON 618 is both destroyer and creator. Though it consumes entire stars, the energy released by its jets can seed the birth of new galaxies. The radiation and shockwaves they unleash compress clouds of gas in distant space, triggering star formation. What begins as destruction ends as creation, a cosmic cycle powered by a single point of infinite gravity. Across the universe, astronomers use these colossal jets as cosmic signposts, mapping where supermassive black holes live. Their radio waves can travel for billions of years, reaching us long after the galaxies that birthed them have faded. TON 618's jets, if seen up close, would be blinding beyond measure, yet even from billions of light years away, their signature hum reaches our telescopes, whispering of unimaginable forces at play. And so TON 618 becomes not merely a void but a lighthouse, one that shines across cosmic time, illuminating the dark ocean of the universe. It is both a warning and a wonder that even in the deepest silence, energy finds a way to speak, and even from the mouth of eternity, light still escapes to guide us home. TON 618 isn't just massive, it's ancient. It formed less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang, a time when the universe itself was still a newborn, filled with chaos and creation. Back then, the cosmos was a turbulent ocean of gas and light, still cooling from the heat of its birth. Galaxies were only beginning to take shape, stars ignited for the first time, and matter gathered under the pull of gravity to sculpt the architecture of everything we see today. In that era of beginnings, TON 618 was already old, a fully formed supermassive black hole devouring its surroundings while the first galaxies were still learning how to shine. Its existence in that epoch defies our understanding of cosmic evolution. Black holes, we believe, begin small, the remains of dying stars collapsing under their own gravity. They grow slowly, feeding over billions of years. But TON 618 was already colossal before the universe had even reached its first billionth birthday. It grew not like a star, but like a force of nature, as if the universe itself had poured its raw energy into forging a single titanic object. To find a black hole of 66 billion solar masses so early in cosmic history suggests a mystery at the heart of creation. Did TON 618 begin as a massive seed, perhaps the collapse of a primordial gas cloud hundreds of thousands of times the mass of our Sun? Or did it form through the violent merging of smaller black holes, each feeding on the remnants of ancient stars that had only just begun to exist? The light we see from TON 618 today left its galaxy more than 10 billion years ago, travelling through expanding space to reach us. When that light began its journey, Earth was not yet a dream. Our Sun, our planets, even the atoms that make us had not yet coalesced. What we observe through our telescopes is a message from the deep past, a frozen image of a universe still under construction. In those early days, galaxies collided frequently, their gas-rich centers forming cosmic storms that fed their black holes like furnaces. TON 618 may have been the heart of one such young galaxy, its gravity drawing in material faster than physics should allow. The energy released would have ignited its accretion disk into one of the brightest quasars ever to exist, a torch blazing across the early universe. To peer at TON 618 through the eyes of the James Webb or Hubble telescopes is to look across time itself. Each photon reaching us tonight began its journey before our species, before our planet, before even our galaxy as we know it. The black hole we see is not as it is now, but as it once was, a snapshot of the universe's fiery youth, preserved in the faintest whisper of ancient light. And yet, that ancient light still shines. It reminds us that even in its infancy, the universe was capable of unimaginable grandeur. From chaos and dust, it gave birth to something so vast it bends the very laws that govern existence. TON 618 is a relic from that first dawn, a cosmic fossil of creation's power, still glowing with the memory of the universe's beginning. To look upon it is to gaze not just into the depths of space, but into the earliest heartbeat of time itself, when the first sparks of structure emerged from the infinite dark and the seeds of eternity began to grow. For TON 618 to exist so early, it must have grown faster than our physics allows. Even light could not have kept pace with its appetite. It challenges our understanding of how black holes are born and how galaxies evolve. In the known universe, growth takes time. Stars form over millions of years, galaxies mature over billions. Yet TON 618 broke those rules. By the time the universe was barely 1 billion years old, this black hole had already devoured enough matter to become a 6 billion solar mass giant. According to every model we have, that simply shouldn't be possible. A black hole feeds through a delicate process called accretion. Matter spirals inward, releasing energy as it falls. But that same energy pushes outward, creating radiation pressure that limits how fast the black hole can continue to eat. This balance is called the Eddington limit, a kind of cosmic speed limit for growth. Feed a black hole too quickly, and its own radiation blows away the very material it's trying to consume. Yet TON 618 seems to have ignored that limit entirely. It must have grown hundreds of times faster than any theory predicts, as though the universe itself bent its rules to allow it. One possibility is that TON 618 was born not from a collapsing star, but from the direct collapse of an enormous cloud of primordial gas, a black hole seed 100,000 times the mass of the Sun. Another theory suggests it formed in a dense cluster of early stars, where hundreds of stellar black holes merged, fusing into one unstoppable core. Even with those head starts, its growth rate defies belief. To reach its current mass in such a short cosmic window, TON 618 would have had to consume the equivalent of one sun every few years for hundreds of millions of years. Imagine a gravitational engine running without pause, swallowing stars, planets, and whole nebulae, each fall of matter feeding a luminous blaze in its accretion disk, bright enough to be seen across the cosmos. And still, it grew. Faster, brighter, hungrier. It may have passed through periods of super Eddington accretion, where infalling gas became so dense that radiation couldn't escape quickly enough to push it back. In this state, the black hole would have devoured matter in torrents, an unstoppable flood of cosmic fuel. If that's true, TON 618 isn't just a record holder, it's a clue, a key to how the earliest supermassive black holes shaped the galaxies around them. Its incredible gravitational pull would have sculpted the flow of matter in its galaxy, influencing where stars formed and how light itself travelled through that infant cosmos. The galaxy didn't create TON 618. TON 618 created the galaxy. Even now, its existence challenges the limits of cosmology. It forces scientists to rethink how quickly structure could have formed in the early universe. Perhaps gravity worked differently under the raw conditions of that time. Or perhaps black holes are more efficient and more mysterious than we've ever realized. When we look at TON 618, we see not just a monster, but a question, one that has haunted astrophysics for decades. How did something so impossibly large emerge so impossibly soon? It reminds us that the universe does not always follow our rules. Sometimes it writes new ones. And TON 618, burning at the edge of time, may be the signature of that defiance, the universe's own reminder that creation, when driven by gravity and chaos, knows no bounds. Every supermassive black hole anchors a galaxy. And TON 618's might have birthed one of the brightest quasars ever recorded, radiating the energy of hundreds of trillions of suns. In the grand design of the cosmos, galaxies and black holes are inseparable companions. Where one exists, the other forms around it. At the core of every spiral, every elliptical, every starburst galaxy lies a supermassive black hole, a gravitational heart regulating the rhythm of creation. TON 618 is no exception. Yet, unlike most galactic centers that quietly shape their surroundings, TON 618 blazes like a beacon across the universe. It doesn't merely anchor a galaxy, it defines one. The galaxy that surrounds TON 618 is so distant and obscured by its own brilliance that we can barely glimpse its structure. Its light, traveling more than 10 billion years to reach us, is overpowered by the quasar's glare, a blinding source of radiation so intense that it outshines the entire galaxy that feeds it. To observe TON 618's quasar is to see a heart beating so fiercely that it drowns out everything else around it. At the center of this storm, matter flows toward the event horizon like a galactic tide. Gas, dust, and stars are drawn inward, crushed and heated, until they glow with unimaginable brightness. The energy released from this process, the friction, compression, and magnetic chaos, is what powers the quasar. In a single second, TON 618 emits more light than our Sun will produce over its entire 10 billion year lifespan. This radiant outpouring of energy doesn't just illuminate space, it reshapes it. The radiation from the quasar drives enormous winds that sweep across its galaxy, pushing clouds of gas into vast arcs that can trigger or extinguish star formation. These winds sculpt the galactic environment, determining which regions will burn with new stars and which will fall silent. TON 618, in this way, is both creator and destroyer, a cosmic heartbeat that controls the rhythm of an entire galactic ecosystem. Imagine standing within that galaxy, tens of thousands of light years from the core. The night sky would never be dark. Instead, it would pulse with the steady brilliance of the quasar, flooding everything with pale blue light. Even the shadows would shimmer. The very dust between stars would glow faintly, warmed by the eternal day of the central black hole. Astronomers believe that without such supermassive hearts, galaxies might never have formed at all. Black holes regulate growth, stabilizing their host galaxies through cycles of feeding and feedback. When TON 618 consumes too quickly, its energy output rises, blowing gas and matter outward, slowing its own growth, balancing creation and destruction in a delicate cosmic equilibrium. This heartbeat can be felt across billions of light years. The radiation TON 618 releases travels through intergalactic space, heating surrounding matter and influencing the formation of nearby galaxies. Its reach extends beyond its own host, shaping the structure of the cosmos itself. In a way, TON 618 is not just the heart of one galaxy, it is a note in the symphony of the universe, a deep, resonant tone that vibrates through the cosmic web. It reminds us that galaxies are not isolated islands of stars, but living, breathing entities, their fates intertwined with the black holes that dwell within them. When you look up at the night sky and see the faint smear of the Milky Way, remember, at its center, our own quiet black hole beats softly, a whisper compared to the thunder of Ton 618. But both play their part in the same cosmic rhythm, the pulse of creation echoing through the dark, endless sea of stars. When we observe Ton 618, we're seeing a beacon from 10 billion light-years away, light that left before Earth even existed. Its brilliance is not life, but death made luminous. In the deep tapestry of the cosmos, quasars are the universe's flare signals. Ancient beacons ignited by supermassive black holes consuming matter at furious rates. Ton 618's quasar is one of the most powerful ever discovered, shining with the light of hundreds of trillions of suns. It's a spectacle of unimaginable violence. A cosmic furnace where destruction masquerades as creation. The light we see now began its journey when the universe was still in its youth, long before our planet had formed, long before the first cell divided in Earth's primordial seas. Through a telescope, Ton 618 appears only as a pinprick of radiance, yet within that point lies the fury of an entire galaxy. Its light spans every wavelength: radio, optical, ultraviolet, X-ray, each a messenger from the edge of a black hole's appetite. For astronomers, it is like staring into a window of the early universe, a rare glimpse of what galaxies once were, wild, bright, and unrestrained. Quasars are not eternal. They are moments of intensity in a black hole's life, cosmic awakenings that last only a fraction of a galaxy's lifetime. Ton 618's awakening likely began when vast clouds of gas, perhaps from colliding galaxies, poured toward its center. The black hole's gravity caught and twisted them into a spinning inferno, igniting the quasar's brilliant blaze. In those moments, Ton 618 became one of the brightest objects in existence, a star-like flame visible from across the universe, a single point outshining millions of galaxies combined. To witness its light today is to time travel across cosmic ages. That glow carries within it the history of a universe still assembling itself, when stars burned larger, when galaxies were fewer, and when gravity sculpted the first grand structures of existence. Every photon from Ton 618 that touches our telescopes is a survivor of that distant era, stretched and reddened by 10 billion years of expansion. It's as if the universe itself has whispered through time, letting us glimpse its fiery youth. But this radiance is fleeting. Eventually, the quasar will fade. When the black hole exhausts the gas and dust feeding it, the light will dim, the accretion disk will cool, and the galaxy around it will grow quiet again. Ton 618 will return to its slumber, invisible yet eternal, waiting in the darkness until gravity calls again. Still, for this moment, frozen in the light we now see, it burns with unimaginable intensity. The quasar's jets carve through the intergalactic void. Its radiation shapes the birth and death of stars, and its light races endlessly outward, a billion-year-old echo crossing time itself. When we gaze at Ton 618's quasar, we are witnessing the afterglow of annihilation, matter transformed into pure energy, order into chaos, and darkness into radiance. It's the closest thing our universe has to poetry written in light, beauty born from destruction, a final cry of energy before silence. And as that ancient light reaches our small blue planet, it carries with it a humbling reminder that even in the most violent corners of the cosmos, there is artistry, symmetry, and grace. Ton 618's quasar is not merely a fire in the dark, it is the universe remembering its own creation, awakening once more to be seen. The event horizon marks the border between reality and the unknowable. Beyond it, gravity bends light, time, and space into a single, inescapable flow. To cross it is to vanish, utterly. It is the boundary that defines a black hole, not a surface in the traditional sense, but a threshold in space-time itself. The point of no return. Once something passes through, it ceases to have meaning in the universe we know. Light can't escape, information can't escape, even the concept of where loses definition. Inside the event horizon, All paths lead inward, pulled unerringly toward the singularity at the center, the ultimate destination where the fabric of reality folds into infinity. Around Ton 618, this invisible boundary stretches nearly 390 billion kilometers across, vast enough to swallow our entire solar system several times over. If you were to drift toward it, you'd see the universe distort in impossible ways. Light from distant galaxies would smear and stretch around you, warped by gravity's relentless pull. The stars behind would curve into arcs, while the black hole ahead would appear as a bottomless void rimmed by fire, the accretion disk blazing with energy as it feeds the abyss. As you approach the event horizon, time itself would begin to twist. To you, the fall would seem quick, a rush toward darkness. But to an outside observer, your motion would slow, your image freezing at the edge, fading into red as the light from your body was stretched by gravity. You'd appear to linger there forever, trapped in slow motion, even as, from your own perspective, you'd have already fallen through. This paradox, the dual nature of crossing, reveals how profoundly the rules of physics break near a black hole. The event horizon is not merely a place where matter disappears, it is where reality splits into two experiences, one for the falling observer, one for the distant witness. Both are true, yet they can never coexist. Inside that horizon, all the familiar coordinates, up, down, past, future, dissolve. Every second carries you closer to the singularity, where density becomes infinite and space collapses into a point. What happens there is beyond comprehension. Quantum mechanics and general relativity, our best tools for understanding the universe, cannot describe it together. It is a region where our knowledge ends, the universe's greatest secret, sealed away by the very laws it obeys. Yet even from beyond the horizon, the black hole is not entirely silent. Subtle quantum effects, like Hawking radiation, suggest that black holes might slowly leak energy over unimaginable timescales, hinting that not everything swallowed is lost forever. The horizon, then, may not be an end, but a veil, one that hides a deeper truth about how the universe preserves information, even in the heart of darkness. For Ton 618, this veil is unimaginably distant and utterly lethal. No matter, no signal, no thought can pass through and ever return. And yet, from the other side, its presence shapes galaxies, bends light, and whispers across time. The event horizon is both boundary and bridge, between what we can know and what we can only imagine. To stand before it, even in thought, is to face the most profound question in all of existence. What lies beyond the edge of everything? For Ton 618, that edge is not just a place, it's an idea, a reminder that even the universe itself keeps secrets too deep for light to tell. Near Ton 618, time itself stretches thin. Minutes for an observer far away become eons near its edge. To fall toward it is to drift into eternity. Here, the universe's heartbeat slows, each pulse of light lagging behind the next. Clocks would falter, their hands trembling as seconds stretch into centuries. In the silence, the cosmos reveals its most secret rhythm, one not measured in hours or days, but in the slow, inevitable pull of gravity on everything that dares approach. The surrounding space is a canvas of distortion. Stars twist into arcs, their light bending into impossible paths. Galaxies behind Ton 618 smear into ghostly streaks, painting the black with the brush of warped time. Colors shift, red shifting into deeper, unseen wavelengths, as photons struggle to escape the maw of gravity. Every beam of light becomes a messenger from the past, carrying secrets from billions of years ago. Observers watching from afar see the quasar flare and fade almost instantaneously. But near the horizon, each flash might last an eternity, an unbroken thread stretching across the fabric of existence. Movement itself becomes an illusion. A spacecraft, descending toward the black hole, would appear frozen, its engines flaring briefly before fading into stillness. The very concept of motion fractures, replaced by a slow, surreal glide, as if the universe itself has pressed pause. Objects orbit the black hole in exquisite spirals, each rotation a cosmic dance choreographed by forces beyond comprehension. Even time's arrow, which always points forward, seems hesitant here, as if questioning the meaning of progression itself. And yet, in this eternal pause, there is a strange beauty. The immense energy radiating from Ton 618 lights the surrounding darkness with colors that have no name. Jets of plasma shoot outward at near-light speed, slicing through the void like glowing ribbons. They trace the invisible currents of gravity, painting arcs across a sky that defies ordinary perception. Every burst, every flare, every ripple of light is magnified by the time dilation, revealing a choreography that would otherwise pass unseen. It is a cosmic theater, a stage where both light and shadow play roles longer than a lifetime, longer than civilizations. The environment near Ton 618 is not just a playground for physics, it is a mirror of cosmic extremes. Gravity twists light and bends space, creating illusions that challenge even the most seasoned observers. Stars appear to stretch and shrink, their positions warped by the relentless pull. Time, for any traveler, is a river with whirlpools and eddies, moments that stretch into infinity and then snap back with a sudden jolt. It is a place where the familiar rules of cause and effect blur, where the line between past, present, and future dissolves into a continuous flow of possibility. To witness Ton 618 up close is to confront eternity itself. Time, so familiar in our daily lives, becomes pliable, like molten glass in the hands of an indifferent artisan. Each second stretches, folds, and curves, reminding us that the universe operates on scales far beyond human comprehension. It is a stark reminder of our own impermanence, a humbling testament to the vastness of space, and to the strange, beautiful, and terrifying nature of a reality governed by forces that dwarf our understanding. In the presence of Ton 618, eternity is no longer an abstract idea. It becomes tangible, visible, and almost unbearably immediate. If you stood 1 light-year away, you'd still feel its pull. Its gravity sculpts space like a vast, invisible ocean, curving the geometry of the cosmos itself. Light no longer travels in straight lines but bends, swooping along the contours of this immense gravitational well. Every star, every galaxy in the vicinity is subtly shifted, tugged, and distorted, as if caught in the currents of an unseen cosmic tide. Time and space are not merely stretched, they are woven into a tapestry that defies ordinary comprehension. As you move closer, the effect grows more extreme. Space itself warps into a funnel, an endless descent that seems to collapse the heavens toward a single point. Orbits stretch into spirals, and the familiar patterns of motion dissolve into intricate loops dictated by the pull of Ton 618. Even photons, the fastest travelers in the universe, struggle to escape. They curve around the black hole, some trapped in endless orbits, tracing luminous rings that encircle the darkness. These paths, called photon spheres, glow faintly as they capture light from every nearby source, creating a halo that is both beautiful and terrifying. Gravity here is not just a force, it is a sculptor, reshaping everything in its reach. Gas clouds twist into streams, forming glowing tendrils that spiral into the abyss. Entire star systems are nudged from their courses, their trajectories forever altered. The immense pull stretches and squeezes objects alike, a tidal dance that would rip any normal matter apart. It is a force that humbles even the most massive stars, reminding us that Ton 618's dominion extends far beyond its event horizon, reaching across the void like the fingers of an unseen hand. For an observer at a safe distance, the black hole seems calm, almost serene. Time near the horizon slows to a crawl, while gravity stretches and compresses, turning reality itself into a fluid, dynamic canvas. Space is no longer uniform, It is a sea of gradients and eddies, each shaped by the relentless pull of the quasar's core. The curvature is so extreme that a straight path from point A to point B becomes meaningless. Light and matter follow curved trajectories, tracing arcs dictated by gravity rather than intention. TON 618's influence is a reminder of scale. It is not simply a massive object, it is a cosmic anchor, a reference point for the structure of the universe itself. Its gravity reaches out across millions of light years, bending space and guiding the motions of galaxies. Stars at the edge of Andromeda, or even in distant clusters, feel its presence, subtly influenced by a force that is invisible yet omnipresent. Here, the universe reveals the interconnectedness of all things, where even objects separated by incomprehensible distances are bound together by the threads of gravity. To approach TON 618 is to confront infinity embodied. The deeper you descend into its gravitational embrace, the more the universe itself begins to fold, compress, and stretch. Every particle, every photon, every ripple of energy responds to its pull. Gravity ceases to be a distant law of physics and becomes a tangible reality, a force that is both breathtakingly beautiful and terrifyingly absolute. In its presence, the cosmos feels alive, a fluid continuum of matter and energy molded by the hand of a singular, inexorable power. There's no sound near TON 618, only radiation. Yet, if we could hear its fury, it would roar across the spectrum, the deepest, lowest note the universe could produce. A frequency so immense it would ripple through space itself, resonating in dimensions beyond human perception. Here, silence is not emptiness. It is a presence, a tangible weight that presses against the mind, a reminder that immense power does not need to announce itself. Every photon escaping the quasar carries the echo of forces so extreme they would shred anything within reach. The radiation itself is a form of communication, a cosmic scream hidden in light. Jets of plasma erupt from the poles at near light speed, cutting through interstellar space like flaming blades. They shimmer across wavelengths invisible to our eyes, X-rays, gamma rays, and radio waves stretching far beyond the grasp of ordinary instruments. These emissions carve paths through surrounding gas and dust, sculpting glowing cavities in the darkness. The fury of TON 618 is quiet yet overwhelming, a reminder that the most profound forces often reveal themselves not in noise, but in sheer intensity. Near the event horizon, energy becomes almost a physical presence. Matter falling in is accelerated, heated to millions of degrees, emitting brilliant bursts of light that outshine entire galaxies. Streams of charged particles spiral outward in colossal arcs, painting the void with ribbons of neon plasma. Space itself trembles under the strain, though nothing audible reaches our ears. It is a symphony written in radiation, conducted by the invisible hand of gravity and light, its scale so vast that no human instrument could ever reproduce it. Even in this extreme environment, there is a rhythm, a pulse hidden in the chaos. Quasars like TON 618 flicker, flare, and fade with a pattern dictated by the feeding of their black holes. Gas clouds swirl in elegant spirals, their motion guided by invisible currents of energy. Each eruption, each burst, is a note in a composition far grander than anything found on Earth. The silence of power is not emptiness, it is the hush before and after a cosmic crescendo, the quiet that lets the fury speak for itself. And yet, despite the overwhelming scale, there is a subtle beauty. The interplay of radiation and shadow creates structures that seem almost intentional, glowing arcs, twisted filaments, and luminous halos that spiral gracefully into the void. Light bends and fractures, reflecting the quasar's invisible strength, casting the surrounding darkness into relief. To witness TON 618 is to see power distilled into form, raw, unyielding, and impossibly vast. In this silence, one feels both insignificance and awe. The universe does not roar for us, it exists in its own terms, governed by forces that dwarf human comprehension. Ton 618 is a monument to scale, a reminder that some of the universe's most magnificent phenomena do not need to be heard to be felt. Its power is absolute, its presence undeniable, and in the absence of sound, we are forced to perceive it with every other sense. Through the bending of light, the warmth of radiation, and the slow, unrelenting pull of gravity. Even in darkness, it glows. Its accretion disk emits X-rays so intense that they travel for billions of years, carrying the echo of creation and collapse. Around Ton 618, matter does not simply fall, it spirals, flattened into a luminous disk that glows with a brilliance impossible to imagine. Each particle accelerates to near light speed, colliding and heating in a furnace of unimaginable energy. What seems like emptiness from afar is a storm of light and fire, a cosmic ballet on the edge of annihilation. The disk itself is a ring of paradox, at once beautiful and deadly. Its glow pierces the void, outshining entire galaxies, yet it marks the border of oblivion. Radiation spills outward, stretching across the universe, illuminating gas clouds and dust, revealing structures that would otherwise remain invisible. Jets of energy erupt perpendicular to the disk, slicing through the darkness, glowing in wavelengths our eyes cannot see. They carry matter, energy, and momentum far into intergalactic space, a brilliant signature of the black hole's insatiable hunger. Even the shadows around Ton 618 shine. Gravity bends light, warping stars behind it into distorted arcs, halos, and streaks that trace the curvature of space itself. In this interplay of light and shadow, the black hole becomes a sculptor of perception, revealing the geometry of a universe under extreme forces. Observers would see rings of light trapped in orbit, each one a ghostly echo of matter that may never escape. The darkness itself seems alive, defined by the luminous threads that dance along its edge, a shadow that radiates power. Time near the accretion disk slows as gravity stretches it, transforming seconds into years and years into centuries. Photons caught near the horizon linger, tracing paths that fold back on themselves, creating loops of light that defy ordinary understanding. The disk's glow is a heartbeat, pulsing through space and time, broadcasting the immense processes within. Every X-ray, every gamma ray, is a story of collapse and rebirth. A signal from the frontier of physical law, where matter is stretched, compressed, and transformed. Ton 618's brilliance is a paradox, a beacon born from destruction. The closer you approach, the more intense the light becomes, yet it is always framed by the ultimate darkness, the event horizon, beyond which nothing escapes. This contrast, the eternal glow of the accretion disk against the yawning void, creates a spectacle that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It reminds us that in the universe, creation and destruction are inseparable, two sides of the same cosmic force. And in the glow, there is a strange beauty. Colors shift and shimmer, from fiery yellows to deep ultraviolet, bending under the influence of gravity, revealing the unseen architecture of space. The luminous disk and its jets illuminate surrounding clouds, painting them in iridescent patterns, turning the void into a cathedral of energy and light. Ton 618's shadow is not empty. It is full of stories. Each photon, a messenger from the edge of what is possible, a record of the universe's most extreme processes. To witness Ton 618 is to see a shadow that shines. Its brilliance is a paradox of existence, proof that even in the depths of darkness, the universe leaves traces of its relentless power, reminding us that light and shadow are inseparable and that the cosmos always leaves a mark, no matter how deep the void. Einstein's equations predicted this, but even he could not have envisioned such scale. Here, space-time folds so dramatically that direction itself becomes meaningless. Space is no longer a flat stage for matter to move across. It is a living, flexible canvas, warped and twisted by the immense gravity of Ton 618. Every path, every trajectory is curved, bent into loops and arcs that defy ordinary intuition. A straight line ceases to exist. What seems forward might curve back on itself, a visual echo of gravity's invisible hand. The closer you get, the more extreme the distortions become. Stars behind the quasar appear stretched, smeared into brilliant arcs that wrap around the void. Entire galaxies ripple, their light elongated as space-time itself stretches like a taut rubber sheet. Even light, the fastest traveler in the cosmos, follows these curved paths, tracing invisible highways dictated by the black hole's pull. Gravitational lensing turns the surrounding universe into a hall of mirrors, bending reality so that what you see is both present and displaced, a visual paradox that challenges comprehension. Time, too, is reshaped. Seconds slow and fold, minutes elongate into eons, and events that seem simultaneous from afar are stretched across the canvas of space-time. Observers at a distance see the quasar flare and fade almost instantly, yet near the event horizon, each flash persists indefinitely, trapped in the curvature of space. The laws of cause and effect, so familiar to us, begin to blur, replaced by a fluid, dynamic interplay of energy and gravity. Matter itself is reshaped by these forces. Gas clouds spiral into elongated ribbons, drawn by gravity into luminous arcs. Dust twists into filaments, streaming along invisible currents that fold back on themselves. Even entire star systems can be nudged off course, their orbits distorted into complex spirals. It is as though TON 618 commands not only the motion of matter, but also the very geometry of the universe around it. The interplay of light and gravity creates visual spectacles that are almost impossible to describe. Glowing arcs of plasma, warped images of distant stars, and the radiant edge of the accretion disk all curve along paths dictated by the quasar's immense mass. Photons caught in this curvature dance along loops that seem eternal, their journey a record of space-time stretched to its limit. The universe reveals itself as a malleable fabric, flexible and responsive, a reminder that even the most fundamental concepts, distance, direction, and motion, are relative. To witness TON 618 is to see the universe bend itself. Space-time is not static, it folds, stretches, and twists in response to unimaginable mass. Direction, distance, and scale become fluid, revealing the cosmos as a living, dynamic structure shaped by forces that are as beautiful as they are terrifying. Here, at the edge of understanding, Einstein's equations come alive, showing us a universe more extreme than any theory could fully predict, where the very fabric of reality is a flowing, luminous tapestry molded by the hand of a singular, inexorable power. TON 618 radiates energy equal to countless galaxies, yet at its center lies perfect silence, a point of infinite density where physics ends. Surrounding this singularity, the accretion disk blazes with unimaginable power, converting matter into radiation so intense it can be detected across billions of light years. Each photon escaping the black hole carries the echo of destruction, a signal of matter stretched, heated, and accelerated to near light speed. It is a paradox. The black hole is simultaneously the universe's brightest beacon and its deepest void. The energy output is staggering. Jets of plasma shoot outward at velocities, approaching light, carving luminous trails through the darkness. X-rays, gamma rays, and radio waves spill across space, lighting up surrounding clouds of gas and dust in iridescent patterns. Entire galaxies pale in comparison to the brilliance of TON 618. Yet all of this energy originates from matter that has fallen into an object whose core is, by definition, unreachable. Here, creation and annihilation coexist, a cosmic contradiction writ large across the fabric of the universe. Near the singularity, the rules of physics dissolve. Gravity stretches space and time into extremes that defy human intuition. Distances lose meaning, moments expand into eons, and matter is compressed beyond comprehension. No known law can describe conditions at the very center. It is a point of infinite density, where every theory reaches its limit, and certainty gives way to the unknowable. The brilliance we witness around it is a testament to processes we can measure, but the heart itself remains an eternal mystery. The contrast between the outer energy and the inner silence is profound. Around the quasar, light and motion dominate, creating a theatre of extreme forces. Plasma swirls in radiant spirals, jets flare like cosmic lances, and gravitational lensing warps distant stars into arcs and streaks. Yet all of this surrounds a core where nothing can escape, not even light, and where the very fabric of reality collapses into a single point. The paradox is both beautiful and humbling. The universe's most energetic spectacle emerges from a place of absolute stillness. TON 618's power challenges comprehension. It is a reminder that magnitude is not always visible. The energy we see is only the surface expression of forces operating on scales beyond ordinary imagination. The singularity represents the ultimate boundary, a frontier where observation ends and mystery begins. In this duality, blinding radiance encircling perfect silence, the black hole embodies the universe's most extreme contradictions. Creation born from destruction, light emanating from darkness, and order emerging from forces that defy understanding. To witness the energy of TON 618 is to confront the limits of perception. The brilliance of its output can illuminate galaxies, yet its heart remains imperceptible, unreachable, and eternal. It is a paradox that underscores the fragility of human comprehension, reminding us that the universe's most powerful phenomena do not merely exist, they challenge every assumption about reality, energy, and the nature of existence itself. Quasars, like TON 618, are paradoxes, the brightest objects in existence powered by the darkest forces in nature. A cosmic contradiction glowing from the abyss. Here, light defies expectation. Born from matter falling into a singularity, it escapes the edge of nothingness to shine across billions of light years, a signal of both creation and destruction. It is a lighthouse built on the precipice of oblivion, illuminating the universe while anchored in a void where even photons fear to tread. The accretion disk blazes with unimaginable energy. Particles spiral inward at near light speed, colliding, heating, and releasing torrents of X-rays, gamma rays, and extreme ultraviolet radiation. These emissions are so powerful that they outshine entire galaxies, yet they originate from a place where matter is being shredded, compressed, and ultimately swallowed by a singularity. The brightest light emerges from the darkest depths, a contradiction that challenges every intuition about how the universe should work. Streams of plasma erupt from the poles, forming glowing jets that carve paths through intergalactic space, visible across millions of light years. These ribbons of energy illuminate surrounding gas clouds, turning empty voids into glowing tapestries, highlighting the paradoxical nature of a quasar's brilliance. Gravity around TON 618 warps space so profoundly that light itself bends into extraordinary patterns. Background stars stretch into arcs and halos, galaxies distort into ghostly smears. The quasar's radiance is not merely light, it is the record of a journey through extreme curvature of space-time. Photons trapped near the event horizon linger, orbiting, deflected, and finally escaping, each carrying a story of near destruction. The paths of light become both a map and a monument, evidence that brilliance can emerge from places where nothing should survive. This light is more than visual, it is energetic, shaping its surroundings. Jets of matter and energy carve cavities in the intergalactic medium, pushing aside clouds of gas, heating them, and triggering cascades of secondary radiation. Even galaxies far from TON 618 feel its influence, their trajectories subtly altered by its immense gravitational field. The paradox is systemic. Destruction at the core produces creation and illumination across space. A black hole, an ultimate consumer of matter, becomes an architect of light, constructing radiant structures from the ruins of matter it devours. TON 618 embodies cosmic contradiction. Its brilliance defies expectations. the darkest forces giving birth to the most intense light, a singularity producing a spectacle visible billions of years later. This light is a testament to the extremes of physics, to the universe's ability to create order from chaos, to produce beauty from annihilation. It stretches the imagination, reminding observers that the cosmos does not conform to human logic. Its glow is a visual language, telling the story of forces far beyond comprehension. Gravity so immense it bends space and time, matter transformed into energy, and light escaping the impossible. To witness TON 618 is to confront the universe's paradoxes directly. Light emerges from darkness, energy from emptiness, and brilliance from obliteration. It is a reminder that the cosmos operates on scales and with rules far beyond human intuition. Even in a place where nothing should shine, the universe proves capable of creating awe-inspiring radiance, a luminous contradiction etched across the expanse of time and space. To observe TON 618 is to look into the early universe's reflection, a mirror showing what galaxies once were and what ours might someday become. Light from this quasar has traveled for more than 10 billion years, carrying with it a record of a time when the cosmos was young, wild, and unformed. Each photon is a messenger from a past that predates Earth, a signal that allows us to peer back into the universe's formative epochs. TON 618 does not merely exist in space, it exists across time, a living relic of cosmic history. The quasar's brilliance illuminates its surroundings in ways that reveal the structure of the early universe. Gas clouds glow under its intense radiation, forming luminous filaments that trace the scaffolding of matter. Proto-galaxies cluster in the shadows of its jets, their faint light competing with the quasar's overwhelming radiance. In these regions, we see the raw materials of galaxies taking shape, stars igniting, clouds condensing, and cosmic dust swirling under the influence of gravity. TON 618 serves as both beacon and archivist, highlighting the processes that built the universe we know today. Looking at TON 618 is like holding up a mirror to cosmic evolution. Its light shows the violent, energetic youth of galaxies, where supermassive black holes and their quasars dominate the scene. Galaxies collide, gas clouds funnel towards central cores, and immense bursts of radiation shape the fate of stars yet to be born. Our own Milky Way, calm and structured by comparison, was once part of such chaos. TON 618 allows us to see these processes frozen in light, a natural time capsule revealing the universe in its most formative years. The quasar also acts as a lens for the cosmos itself. Gravity bends the light of background galaxies, stretching them into arcs and rings that map the invisible mass around TON 618. In this way, the quasar becomes a mirror not just of the past, but of the unseen, dark matter halos, hidden galactic structures, and the invisible scaffolding that holds clusters together. Observing TON 618 is a double revelation, seeing both what once was and what is otherwise hidden from view. Even its jets and outflows carry reflections of cosmic history. Streams of plasma, propelled at near-light speed, interact with surrounding gas, triggering bursts of star formation or clearing regions of material entirely. These processes, amplified over billions of years, are recorded in the light that finally reaches Earth. TON 618 is not static, it is a dynamic record, a mirror showing the interplay of creation, destruction, and evolution on the grandest scale. To study TON 618 is to confront the universe's own memory. Each flare, each photon, each distortion in the surrounding space tells a story of formation, collapse, and transformation. We see galaxies as they once were, shaped by forces both familiar and extreme, illuminated by a black hole that has persisted since the dawn of time. In its reflection, we glimpse not only the history of the cosmos but hints of its future, understanding how light, gravity, and energy sculpt the fate of galaxies across eons. TON 618 is more than a quasar. It is a cosmic mirror, showing us both the infancy of the universe and the path that our own galaxy may someday follow. Its light stretches across space and time, carrying with it the echoes of formation, the scars of cosmic turbulence, and the promise of evolution. To look upon Ton 618 is to witness the universe reflecting upon itself, a luminous testament to the eternal dance of matter, energy, and gravity across the ages. Matter doesn't fall directly in. It spirals, slowed by magnetic fields and friction, forming a colossal whirlpool of incandescent gas spinning at near light speed. This accretion disk is a turbulent, radiant storm where dust, gas, and stellar debris are stretched and heated to unimaginable temperatures. Each particle moves in a delicate balance between the pull of Ton 618's gravity and the outward pressure of intense radiation, creating a cosmic dance that is both chaotic and exquisitely precise. The disk glows with a brilliance that can outshine entire galaxies, a blazing ribbon of energy marking the edge of the abyss. As matter spirals inward, friction and magnetic forces generate turbulence, heating the gas to millions of degrees. The innermost regions of the disk emit X-rays and gamma rays, the highest energy forms of light, while the outer edges glow in ultraviolet and visible wavelengths. The entire structure is a kaleidoscope of color and energy, warped by gravity into arcs and spirals that curve around the singularity. Jets of plasma erupt from the poles, propelled by the rotation of the disk and twisted magnetic fields, slicing through the surrounding void like luminous spears. The dance of matter is not uniform. Instabilities ripple through the disk, creating waves, clumps, and shocks that ripple outward and inward. Gas clouds collide, producing bursts of light and energy as friction converts motion into radiation. Magnetic fields thread through the disk, channeling matter along invisible currents and accelerating particles to near-light speeds. The combination of rotation, friction, and magnetism transforms the accretion disk into a dynamic, ever-changing structure, a living entity shaped by forces far beyond human comprehension. Observers from a safe distance would see this spiral of incandescent gas as a brilliant, twisting halo around Ton 618. The inner regions appear distorted and magnified by gravitational lensing, light bending along the extreme curvature of space-time. Photons orbit the black hole, trapped temporarily in photon spheres, creating halos that shimmer and shift with the movement of the disk. The accretion dance is both hypnotic and terrifying, a perpetual whirlpool of energy on the edge of oblivion. Despite its fury, there is rhythm in this chaos. Matter follows predictable patterns dictated by gravity and magnetic forces, tracing elliptical paths that gradually bring it closer to the event horizon. Time near the disk is stretched. Minutes for a distant observer can become millennia close to the edge. The spiral is a slow-motion dance of cosmic forces, where light, matter, and energy intertwine in a spectacle of motion and illumination. The accretion disk also reveals the paradox of destruction and creation. While matter is being consumed by the black hole, it is simultaneously transformed into light and energy, radiating outward across billions of light-years. The swirling disk sculpts the surrounding environment, heating gas clouds, triggering star formation, and shaping the interstellar medium. Ton 618 is both a devourer and a creator, and the accretion dance is the visible expression of this duality. To witness Ton 618's accretion disk is to see gravity and energy in perfect, violent harmony. It is a whirlpool where matter, light, and magnetism move in a complex choreography, tracing spirals that illuminate the darkness. The dance is eternal, relentless, and awe-inspiring, a reminder that even at the edge of annihilation, the universe creates forms of astonishing beauty. At the edge, photons orbit endlessly, trapped in a perfect balance between escape and oblivion. A ring of eternal twilight surrounds the void, where light curves back on itself, circling the black hole in patterns that can last forever. This is the photon sphere, a place where gravity and motion are in perfect equilibrium, a liminal boundary where reality bends and the normal rules of space and time dissolve. Photons caught here become eternal travelers, moving in loops that neither bring them closer to freedom nor allow them to fall into darkness. The surrounding space is a surreal tapestry of distortions. Stars behind the black hole stretch into glowing arcs and ribbons, bending around the abyss in impossible curves. Galaxies smear into ghostly streaks, their light refracted and duplicated by the immense gravitational field. From a distance, this forms a luminous halo, a spectral ring that glimmers faintly in contrast to the consuming blackness inside. The edge of the event horizon is not merely invisible, it is a visual paradox, a boundary defined by light, trapped between existence and oblivion. Time itself is warped near the horizon. To a distant observer, any object approaching the edge appears to slow dramatically, moving ever more sluggishly until it seems frozen in place. Seconds stretch into minutes, minutes into hours, and hours into years. The closer an object gets, the more extreme this dilation becomes. For a hypothetical traveler near the edge, every instant expands endlessly, moments lingering in a suspended state where the flow of cause and effect is stretched almost to infinity. The event horizon becomes a threshold between temporal reality and an eternal pause. The accretion disk provides the only illumination near the photon sphere, casting faint X-rays and gamma rays that spiral along twisted paths around the black hole. These glowing streams trace the curvature of space-time, highlighting the contours of the invisible boundary. Streams of plasma erupt from the poles, extending far into space, their brilliance a stark contrast to the stillness of the photon sphere. Within this dance of light and energy, order emerges from chaos, a dynamic yet balanced environment where matter, radiation, and gravity interweave in a spectacle that is as mesmerizing as it is deadly. The photon sphere is also a paradox of visibility and inaccessibility. Light exists in abundance, yet it cannot escape. Energy is present, yet its source is continuously consumed. Every photon caught in orbit becomes a record of spacetime's curvature, tracing the immense gravitational influence of TON 618. The ring of eternal twilight is both a warning and a marvel, a luminous testament to the power of a black hole and the limits of human comprehension. It reveals the sheer scale and precision of forces that govern the cosmos, where light can be forever trapped yet still illuminate the surrounding darkness. To witness the event horizon's edge is to see the ultimate boundary of physics. Here, gravity dominates, light becomes captive, and time itself bends. It is a place where reality is stretched to its extremes, a threshold where the universe's most profound rules are both enforced and tested. The photon sphere is eternal motion frozen in space, a ring of twilight circling a void that can neither be touched nor escaped. It is the edge of understanding made visible, the intersection of light, gravity, and time in their most extreme forms, and a reminder that the universe's most spectacular phenomena exist at the limits of what can be observed or imagined. If you fell toward TON 618, you'd never hit anything. From your perspective, time would freeze as you crossed the event horizon, while the universe beyond would seem to rush through centuries in seconds. The act of falling toward a black hole is not a simple descent, it is a journey into extremes, where gravity bends not only space but also the very flow of time. Every second stretches, each moment dilates, and the familiar rhythm of life gives way to a surreal, suspended reality. Approaching the event horizon, space itself distorts. The light from distant stars warps, curving around the black hole and painting a kaleidoscope of arcs, streaks, and halos. Galaxies behind you stretch into luminous ribbons, and even the glow of your own ship, or body, would be twisted into strange loops by the immense gravitational field. You would feel the pull of TON 618 inches every direction, a tidal force so immense that it warps the trajectory of matter and energy alike, pulling the cosmos into a spiral of motion and light. The accretion disk spins faster and brighter as you near the horizon. Clouds of gas, heated to millions of degrees, emit torrents of X-rays and gamma rays that flare in all directions. Jets of plasma shoot outward from the poles at near light speed, glowing like lances of fire cutting through the darkness. From your vantage point, these energetic phenomena appear to stretch and bend in slow motion. Each flare a prolonged spectacle of cosmic violence and beauty. the black hole is simultaneously consuming and illuminating, devouring matter while revealing the extremes of physics in brilliant, visible form. Time near the edge behaves in ways that defy intuition. For you, the fall might seem instantaneous, a sudden crossing into a dark, invisible threshold. Yet outside observers would see you frozen in space, suspended at the event horizon, a ghostly figure caught between existence and oblivion. Light emitted from your position would redshift into invisibility, fading into the spectrum of undetectable energy. In this strange liminal state, perception itself becomes unreliable. What you see, feel, and measure is stretched and folded, as if the universe itself is playing with the notion of reality. Even as you descend, you never truly collide with anything. There is no surface, no bottom, just the singularity beyond, a point of infinite density where the laws of physics break down. Gravity continues to increase without bound, compressing space, bending time, and ultimately ending the classical understanding of motion. Every particle, every photon, every wave of energy responds to this extreme curvature, tracing paths that are both beautiful and terrifying in their precision. Falling toward ton 618 is falling into eternity, into the very fabric of space-time stretched to its limits. The experience is a paradox of stillness and motion. You move inexorably toward the singularity, yet each step is slowed, each instant expanded. The universe beyond races forward, civilizations rise and fall, stars are born and die, all while your perspective remains suspended in the edge of infinity. The act of falling becomes a meditation on time itself, a confrontation with the extremes of the cosmos, and a reminder that human experience is utterly finite compared to the scale of these forces. To fall forever toward ton 618 is to enter a realm where space, time, and motion are rewritten. It is a journey without end, a descent into the unknown, and a confrontation with the ultimate boundary of the universe. It is a passage where the laws of physics are both absolute and transformed, and where eternity can be felt in a single, suspended moment of freefall. At the center, all paths converge. Space and time collapse into a single point, the singularity. Here, gravity becomes infinite, curving and compressing everything into a realm beyond comprehension. It is the ultimate boundary of reality, where the familiar rules of physics cease to exist, and every concept of distance, duration, and motion is rendered meaningless. The singularity is not merely dense, it is absolute, a point where the very fabric of the universe folds into itself, compressing the cosmos into a single, unfathomable nexus. As you approach, the universe stretches and contorts around you. Light is drawn into spirals, stars behind you warp into elongated arcs, and galaxies shimmer into twisted streaks of color. Time ceases to flow in any recognizable way, seconds dilate into infinity, and causality blurs. The singularity is both a destination and a boundary. It is everywhere and nowhere at once. From any perspective, it exerts its power over everything nearby, an ultimate attractor whose influence dominates the surrounding space-time. Matter is torn apart long before reaching the singularity. Tidal forces stretch and compress particles, gas clouds, and even stars into long, thin filaments, a process sometimes called spaghettification. No object survives intact. Even light cannot escape, caught in an eternal orbit around the photon sphere before ultimately succumbing to the pull of the singularity. Energy and matter are converted into extreme forms of radiation, some of which is ejected outward by the accretion disk, yet the core itself remains inaccessible, an eternal enigma hidden within darkness. Inside, the laws of physics are rewritten, or rather, they dissolve. General relativity predicts the collapse of space-time, but quantum mechanics cannot yet reconcile what happens at the singularity. The two frameworks, which govern the cosmos at large and at tiny scales, break down at this point of infinite density. The singularity is thus not only a physical extreme but also a theoretical one, representing the edge of human understanding. It is a reminder of the limits of knowledge and the vast mysteries that remain in the universe. Despite its incomprehensibility, the singularity shapes everything around it. Its immense gravitational pull dictates the structure of galaxies, the orbits of stars, and the motion of interstellar gas. Energy emitted from nearby matter illuminates the surrounding cosmos, forming glowing jets, spiraling disks, and radiant halos. The singularity is simultaneously invisible and omnipresent, a hidden architect of cosmic order and chaos, a point of infinite consequence in a finite universe. The singularity is also a paradox of presence and absence. It is a place where matter, energy, space, and time converge, yet nothing can exist there in any recognizable form. It is both a void and a source of phenomenal influence, the ultimate compression of the cosmos into a point that defines the boundaries of existence itself. To imagine it is to confront infinity, a concept so extreme that the mind strains to comprehend even a fraction of its magnitude. To enter the singularity is to step beyond reality. It is to witness the collapse of space and time, to experience forces that dwarf imagination, and to confront the ultimate power of the universe. Here, all things converge, all motion ceases, and the cosmos itself seems to fold inward. The singularity is not just the heart of TON 618, it is the heart of cosmic extremes, the ultimate reminder of how immense, strange, and unknowable the universe truly is. Every particle of TON 618 was once part of something. Stars, planets, perhaps entire galaxies, all reduced to memory inside an eternal night. The matter that now swirls in its accretion disk once burned brightly across the cosmos, illuminating ancient skies in galaxies long vanished. Each atom, each fragment of dust and gas, carries the echo of a star that lived, shone, and died before being drawn into the gravity well of this cosmic titan. TON 618 is not merely a black hole, it is a graveyard of suns, a vast monument to everything the universe has consumed and transformed. Billions of years ago, long before Earth existed, the stars that fed TON 618 were born from vast clouds of hydrogen and helium. They ignited, burned for millions of years, and died in explosions so fierce that they briefly outshone entire galaxies. Their remnants drifted through space until gravity gathered them again, drawn inexorably toward the growing mass at the center of their host galaxy. Over eons, entire star systems fell inward, spiraling toward annihilation. Each one contributed its essence to the expanding black hole, merging into an ever-deepening abyss that grew brighter and more powerful with every meal. Now, all that remains of those stars is energy, streams of light and radiation that pour outward from the accretion disk, glowing with the fury of countless lost worlds. The material within the disk orbits at near light speed, friction heating it to millions of degrees. Every flash, every X-ray, every particle of plasma is the final whisper of something that once lived and burned in the ancient cosmos. In this sense, TON 618 is both destroyer and storyteller. Its radiance is a record of everything it has devoured. If we could unravel the light streaming from it, we might find spectral signatures of the elements once forged in stellar cores: carbon, oxygen, iron, the very materials that later became the building blocks of planets and life. These atoms, now stripped of identity, are reduced to pure energy as they spiral toward oblivion. The black hole erases all distinction: star and planet, gas and dust, matter and light, all are equal here. What was once creation's handiwork becomes raw potential once again, folded into the singularity's infinite density. The forgotten stars are not truly gone. They endure in the only way the universe allows. Their energy reshapes galaxies, fueling cosmic winds and lighting up the void. Their gravitational sacrifice gives birth to beauty, as the radiation from TON 618's accretion disk illuminates the surrounding cosmos. Even destruction has purpose. The cycle continues, transforming death into light, collapse into creation. It is the same cycle that birthed our own sun, our planet, and ultimately, us. To observe TON 618 is to glimpse the afterlife of galaxies. Its glow is the ghost light of a billion lost suns, their memories smeared across space-time and carried by photons traveling for 10 billion years. Each particle of light is a relic, a silent record of creation devoured and reborn. TON 618 is the universe's great recycler. Everything it consumes becomes fuel for illumination, a paradox where erasure and brilliance coexist. The forgotten stars remind us that nothing in the universe truly vanishes. Even as they are consumed by darkness, they persist as energy, as motion, as the light that still reaches us across eons. TON 618 is their monument, a colossal beacon built from the remains of creation, burning eternally in the black. Within its glow lies the story of everything that came before, stars that lived, died, and were remembered by the light that should not still exist. Each photon that escapes from TON 618's accretion disk tells a story billions of years old, messages from matter in its final moments. Every particle of light that reaches us is a survivor, born from chaos, carrying the memory of destruction and creation intertwined. These photons began their journey when the universe was still young, when galaxies were closer together, when the first clusters of stars were still forming. They have traveled through the great void, untouched by anything but time itself, to arrive at our telescopes as faint whispers from a past that no longer exists. The accretion disk is a forge of light and energy. Gas and dust, compressed and heated to millions of degrees, emit radiation so intense that it becomes visible across billions of light years. Photons generated here are born in violence, torn from atoms colliding at nearly the speed of light, forged in temperatures that would vaporize any known matter. Each one begins its escape from a maelstrom of magnetic fields, gravity, and friction, emerging from the most extreme environment in the universe. Yet only a fraction survive. Most are trapped, bent back into the void, or swallowed forever by the singularity's pull. Those that escape do so by chance, finding a narrow path through the curved geometry of space-time. Their journey is a passage through distortion. Gravity warps their trajectories, bending them into elegant arcs that spiral outward into the cosmos. Some photons orbit several times around the black hole before breaking free, their paths twisted and stretched by the curvature of space. Others skim the photon sphere, clinging to the edge of eternity before flinging outward into the infinite dark. Each one encodes a fragment of the quasar's story, its motion, its temperature, its structure, written in wavelengths of X-ray, ultraviolet, and visible light. Together, they form the spectrum of TON 618, a luminous signature etched across space-time. For billions of years, these photons travel alone. They cross the intergalactic void, passing through regions so empty that entire galaxies drift by without ever touching a single atom. Along the way, cosmic expansion stretches their wavelengths, shifting them toward the red end of the spectrum, softening their energy. By the time they reach us, they are ancient, weary travelers. Light that began as violent radiation now arrives as a faint, ghostly glow. To capture it is to intercept a message written 10 billion years ago, the dying breath of matter consumed by the largest known black hole. In this light lies the history of the universe itself. Each photon carries the imprint of the environment from which it came, the heat, the motion, the turbulence of the accretion disk. Astronomers decode these messages, reading the faint variations in frequency and polarization to reconstruct what happened in those final moments. Every observation is an act of resurrection, bringing the past back into focus, illuminating an event that ended long before our planet even formed. The light's last journey is both an ending and a beginning. It marks the death of matter, but gives birth to knowledge, to wonder, to the human act of looking outward and understanding. These photons, born from destruction, now shape our perception of the cosmos. They connect us to the earliest epochs, to the cycles of creation and collapse that define existence itself. TON 618's glow is the universe remembering itself, light escaping darkness, carrying with it the memory of everything that once was. If sound could travel through the vacuum, TON 618's collapse would echo like thunder through the ages, the universe's final symphony of falling light. In truth, there is no air to carry such a roar, no medium for vibration. Yet if we could somehow translate its radiation into sound, it would be a chorus of unimaginable depth, a frequency so low it would take years for a single oscillation, a tone that hums through the very structure of space-time itself. It is silence made powerful, absence turned into resonance, the sound of gravity itself singing in the dark. In the space surrounding TON 618, particles collide at relativistic speeds, each impact releasing bursts of electromagnetic energy across every wavelength. To the human ear, this would be chaos, a violent orchestra of radiation, plasma, and magnetic storms. But to physics, it is harmony. Every burst follows the rhythm of accretion, the pulse of gravity pulling, compressing, heating, and transforming. Like an unseen conductor, the black hole sets the tempo. Matter spirals, collides, and vanishes in time with a gravitational beat that reverberates across billions of light years. Imagine, then, this cosmic performance rendered as sound. The sub-bass rumble of the accretion disk would drown out all else, a note deeper than any vibration known, resonating like a living heartbeat of the universe. Above it, magnetic fields would crackle in sharp staccato bursts, each one marking a flare of energy released from twisting plasma streams. Jets of matter, ejected at near-light speed, would add their own harmonics. A jet engine's scream stretched and slowed until it becomes a solemn, endless drone. The entire quasar would play like a celestial instrument, its movements scored by Einstein's equations and conducted by gravity's unrelenting will. And then silence. For at the center of TON 618 lies a quiet so absolute that sound, light, and time themselves cease to have meaning. Within the event horizon, there are no vibrations, no waves, no echoes, only the smooth descent into the singularity where all motion ends. This is the stillness beneath the symphony, the rest note at the end of creation's song. It is not destruction in the human sense, but transformation, energy, matter, and information dissolving into the unknown. Yet, even this silence speaks. The ripples TON 618 sends through space-time. Gravitational waves, faint but immense, carry the echoes of its power. They expand outward like invisible chords, resonating through the cosmic fabric, distorting time itself as they pass. If we could hear them, we'd perceive them not as sound but as slow, rolling distortions of the universe's shape, the deep hum of the cosmos breathing. Instruments like LIGO and future gravitational detectors are, in essence, listening to these notes, detecting the faint tremors of massive events long past. The sound of creation's end, then, is not one of destruction but of balance, the universe reclaiming its energy, folding light back into darkness. It is the echo of everything that ever was, converging into a single vibration, a tone that will hum through eternity. TON 618's silent thunder reminds us that even in the vacuum, the universe has a voice, not in air, not in pressure waves, but in the very curvature of reality. To listen to that voice is to hear the memory of everything. Stars collapsing, galaxies merging, atoms burning out, all reduced to one perfect resonance. The deepest note ever played, still ringing across the cosmic stage. Astronomers map its presence not by sight, but by the distortion it causes, bending light from galaxies behind it like a lens made of pure gravity. TON 618 does not reveal itself through form or color, but through what it does to the universe around it. It is a sculptor working invisibly, shaping the paths of photons, altering the geometry of space, and redrawing the constellations themselves. Instead, it curves, stretches, and multiplies, forming arcs, rings, and mirages that tell us of its immense, unseen hand. This effect, known as gravitational lensing, is one of the most hauntingly beautiful phenomena in astrophysics. Imagine looking at a distant galaxy, only to see its image warped into a halo, a luminous ring encircling emptiness. That ring, the Einstein ring, is not a trick of light, but a map of gravity. It shows us where space-time bends so sharply that even the universe's straightest path, the trajectory of a photon, must bow in submission. Around TON 618, this lensing reaches incomprehensible strength. Galaxies billions of light-years behind it appear stretched and doubled, their light delayed by centuries as it curves around the black hole's immense gravitational field. For astronomers, these distortions are more than visual wonders. They are clues. By measuring how light bends, they can infer TON 618's mass, its structure, and even the distribution of matter in the space around it. The quasar becomes a cosmic laboratory, an instrument that reveals how gravity behaves under the most extreme conditions. Each warped image, each stretched beam of light, is a data point in the grand experiment of the universe. The darkness of TON 618, paradoxically, allows us to see more clearly the nature of everything that surrounds it. When telescopes capture these lensed galaxies, they are capturing shadows, not the shadow of the black hole itself, but the shadow it casts upon reality. The curvature of space acts as a mirror that reflects not what is there, but what has been displaced, twisted, and transformed. It's as if TON 618 paints with absence, turning gravity into an artist's brush that shapes the light of galaxies millions of light-years away. The result is a map of shadows, a portrait drawn not in ink or pigment, but in distortion and delay. On these cosmic maps, light becomes language. Every deflection tells a story of mass and motion, of energy and collapse. To study TON 618 is to read a text written in bent photons, a gravitational script that describes the universe's most mysterious force. Even without seeing the black hole itself, astronomers can trace its outline, infer its hunger, and measure its influence across unimaginable distances. And yet, the deeper we map, the more we realize how incomplete our understanding remains. For all our instruments and equations, the heart of TON 618 remains hidden, a void wrapped in illusion, a presence made known only by what it displaces. It is both a mirror and a mask, showing us the universe's structure while concealing its own. The map of shadows is not just a scientific diagram, it is a cosmic reflection, a reminder that light and darkness are forever intertwined. What we see when we look at TON 618 is not the object itself, but the universe responding to it, curving around its gravity, revealing its shape through distortion. It is a dance between visibility and concealment, a portrait of power painted on the canvas of space-time itself. Somewhere, in that vast interplay of light and gravity, TON 618 remains silent, unchanged, unseeable, but profoundly present. We cannot look directly into its heart, but through the trails of bent light, we can trace its outline, an invisible colossus whose presence is written across the sky in shadows. Equations alone describe its existence. Distances, densities, and energies beyond comprehension, numbers that break our intuition. TON 618 is not something the human mind was ever meant to grasp. It exists at the far edge of what mathematics can express, where reality itself begins to resemble abstraction. Astronomers and physicists speak of it in exponents, in powers of 10 so vast that they dissolve meaning. Its mass, 66 billion times that of our Sun, is not a number but a concept, a boundary between the measurable and the unknowable. When we attempt to describe TON 618, language falters. Words like massive, bright, or colossal become trivial. Shadows of the truth. Only mathematics dares to approach it directly. In equations, TON 618 takes shape. The curvature of space-time described by Einstein's tensor, the density approaching infinity, the escape velocity equal to the speed of light. These symbols, arranged with perfect precision, reveal a world that cannot be seen or imagined, a geometry where time slows distances fold, and energy becomes indistinguishable from gravity. The mathematics of a black hole begins simply enough. The Schwarzschild radius defines the boundary where light cannot escape, determined by mass alone. But with TON 618, that simplicity becomes monstrous. Its event horizon spans hundreds of billions of kilometers, so large that entire solar systems could orbit within its reach. The equations that once described the behavior of stars now twist into paradoxes. When physicists calculate its gravitational potential, they find values so extreme that even quantum mechanics, our best theory of the small, fails to make sense of it. It is a place where relativity and quantum theory, the twin pillars of modern science, both reach their breaking point. Inside the mathematics, chaos emerges. Numbers describing spin, charge, and magnetic flux balloon into infinities. The density at its core becomes undefined, a singularity not just in space but in logic. The laws that govern the cosmos elsewhere simply collapse here, leaving behind only equations that spiral toward madness. Even Einstein, who first predicted black holes through his field equations, doubted their physical reality. "They are too strange to exist," he once implied. And yet, TON 618 proves they do, mocking the limits of human reason with its impossible existence. The deeper physicists go, the stranger the numbers become. The accretion disk's luminosity approaches a quadrillion times that of our Sun. Magnetic fields twist with power strong enough to tear atomic nuclei apart. These are not just measurements, they are boundaries of understanding, the outer walls of what science can calculate before collapsing into mystery. And yet, hidden within this numerical chaos, there is elegance. Each equation describing TON 618 is both terrifying and beautiful, a perfect balance of logic describing something utterly illogical. The mathematics reveals a kind of symmetry, an underlying order to the madness. Gravity curves space with mathematical grace. Energy radiates with precision. It is as if the universe itself was written in an alien language of numbers, one that whispers its secrets only through abstraction. To contemplate TON 618 is to realize that the human brain was not built for such magnitudes. We evolved to count stones and seasons, not galaxies and singularities. Yet here we are, writing the equations that define a hole in space-time 10 billion light-years away. The numbers may break our intuition, but they also unite us with the cosmos. They are proof that understanding can reach where imagination cannot. In the end, TON 618 is a monument to both the brilliance and the fragility of reason. It is a reminder that our greatest tool, mathematics, can describe what our senses never could. But even as the equations work flawlessly, they lead us to a place where comprehension ends. Beyond the symbols lies something that cannot be solved, only witnessed. A truth so vast it appears as madness. TON 618 may have been born from the union of two titanic black holes, galaxies merging, their cores fusing in a gravitational dance that shook space-time itself. Imagine two vast cities of stars, each with billions of suns, spiraling toward one another across millions of light-years. As they draw closer, their shapes distort, tidal forces stretch gas clouds into luminous filaments, and stars are flung into chaotic arcs. In this cosmic choreography, energy is released on an unimaginable scale, lighting up the universe with bursts of radiation and quasar activity that outshine entire galaxies. The collision of galaxies is not a sudden event, but a slow-motion symphony lasting hundreds of millions of years. Stars rarely crash into one another due to the vast emptiness between them, yet their gravitational interactions reshape orbits, funnel gas into the central black holes, and trigger waves of star formation. Clouds of hydrogen collapse into brilliant new stars, while supernovae ignite, scattering heavier elements into the cosmic canvas. It is a process of both creation and destruction, where the death throes of one generation of stars seed the birth of the next, and the central black holes grow ever more massive, drawing everything toward them with irresistible pull. For TON 618, This primordial merger likely defined its destiny. As two black holes spiraled together, they emitted gravitational waves, ripples in space-time itself, that propagated outward, distorting the universe on an unimaginable scale. Each orbit drained energy, pulling the giants closer until the final, catastrophic union occurred. In that instant, a singularity of extraordinary mass emerged, a gravitational anchor that would influence its surrounding galaxy and beyond. This new black hole, born of cosmic collision, would go on to consume matter at phenomenal rates, becoming the quasar we observe today, a beacon from the early universe, a remnant of an unimaginable cosmic catastrophe. The aftermath of such a collision is equally profound. Gas and dust, once scattered, settle into new orbits, forming disks that feed the central black hole and fuel ongoing quasar activity. Stellar orbits stabilize, galaxies reshape themselves, and the light from billions of stars merges into new galactic structures. Even after the violence subsides, the memory of the collision lingers, in the swirling arms of spiral galaxies, in elongated stellar streams, and in the distribution of dark matter that dictates the shape of the universe. TON 618 is a living testament to this ancient dance, its mass a record of the titanic forces that gave it birth. These galactic collisions remind us that the universe is not static, it is alive with motion and transformation. Galaxies are not solitary islands, but social entities, constantly interacting, merging, and reshaping the cosmic landscape. Every collision carries the potential to create something greater than the sum of its parts, a new balance of gravity, light, and matter. TON 618 stands as both a monument to destruction and a catalyst for creation, embodying the paradoxical nature of cosmic evolution. Out of chaos arises structure, and from the fusion of giants emerges a force that can dominate the universe for billions of years. In witnessing TON 618, we glimpse the power of these ancient galactic unions. We see that even in the vast emptiness of space, nothing exists in isolation. Every star, every planet, every quasar is a product of countless interactions stretching across time and distance. TON 618, born from collision, reminds us that the cosmos is a place of perpetual motion, where creation and destruction are inseparable, and where the echoes of ancient unions continue to shape the universe we inhabit today. That collision would have unleashed gravitational waves, rippling across the cosmos, faint echoes that we might still detect today. When two supermassive black holes like TON 618's progenitors collided, they would have sent vibrations through the very fabric of space-time itself. Not sound, not light, but movement, space stretching and compressing, time itself trembling as the universe resonated with the force of a billion suns colliding. These waves, predicted by Einstein over a century ago, are among the most subtle phenomena ever measured, yet their origin is anything but subtle. They are the aftershocks of creation and destruction, the deep bass notes of reality. To understand them is to glimpse the machinery of the cosmos. Gravitational waves are distortions in space-time, like ripples spreading across a cosmic pond after a stone. Here, an unimaginable one has been thrown in. But unlike water, space-time carries these ripples forever. They stretch across the universe, passing silently through galaxies, stars, and planets, changing distances by less than the width of an atom as they go. And somewhere in that faint oscillation, the memory of TON 618's birth still lingers, crossing eons to reach us. When LIGO first detected such a wave in 2015, it confirmed Einstein's vision. The universe is not static but dynamic, alive with subtle motion. That first detection came from the merger of black holes far smaller than TON 618, yet even those faint ripples travelled over 1 billion light-years. Now, scientists suspect that quasars like TON 618 may be responsible for much larger, slower waves, signals that stretch across the entire sky, detectable not by single instruments but by constellations of pulsars acting as cosmic microphones. Each pulse of radio energy from these distant stars arrives slightly ahead or behind schedule, nudged by the gentle breathing of space-time itself. Imagine the collision that might have formed TON 618, two black holes, each the mass of millions of suns, spiraling inward over cosmic ages. As they approached, they would have accelerated to nearly the speed of light, their combined gravity twisting the surrounding space-time into a vortex of unimaginable tension. When they finally merged, the energy released would have outshone entire galaxies, not in light, but in pure gravitational force. The fabric of the universe would have quivered, sending out concentric waves that have never stopped moving. Even now, billions of years later, those ripples may still be expanding through us, imperceptible yet real. This is not metaphor. The ground beneath your feet stretches and contracts infinitesimally as these waves pass through Earth. We do not feel it, yet it happens constantly, a whisper of cosmic motion woven into the background of existence. Instruments like LIGO, Virgo, and future space-based detectors such as LISA listen to that whisper, translating the vibrations of space-time into sound. When processed and amplified, the signal becomes audible, a low, ghostly chirp, the literal sound of reality shifting. The idea that TON 618 might still echo across space-time bridges the distant past with the present moment. Every detected wave is a message from an event that happened millions or billions of years ago, long before our species existed. To record it is to touch ancient power, to sense the universe remembering its own history. These waves do not fade, they do not age. They travel forever, carrying the memory of their source into eternity. If one could visualize them, they would look like invisible tides washing through galaxies, distorting stars, bending light, and subtly rewriting the geometry of everything they touch. TON 618's collision, magnified across the ages, would be one of the loudest songs the cosmos ever played, a song without sound, yet one that vibrates through the bones of reality. In their silence lies the universe's voice. Every ripple, every tremor, every distortion tells a story, not of chaos, but of connection. TON 618's ancient waves remind us that even the most distant events still shape our present. They are proof that the universe is not still, not dead, but alive, breathing, resonating, and remembering its own creation in ripples that never end. By the time its photons reach Earth, they have traveled for 10 billion years, crossing the entire observable universe, untouched, to whisper of its existence. Each beam of light that enters our telescopes tonight began its journey when the universe was young, when galaxies were still coalescing and stars were first beginning to burn. Those photons have seen things we never will: the rise and fall of cosmic epochs, the slow expansion of reality itself. They have crossed the emptiest spaces imaginable, where not a single atom lies for millions of light years, enduring time and distance beyond comprehension. Imagine one photon leaving the accretion disk of TON 618, a single quanta of light, born in the chaos of a black hole's feeding frenzy. It emerges from matter spiraling inward at nearly the speed of light, ejected in a final, desperate release of energy before being swallowed forever. That photon escapes the gravity well, twisting and bending through curved space-time, dodging the pull of the singularity by a fraction of a degree. From there, it races outward into the void, beginning a journey that will outlast galaxies. As it travels, the universe expands around it. Space itself stretches, pulling the photon's wavelength longer, shifting its color from blinding ultraviolet toward red, then infrared, then the faint microwave hiss of the ancient sky. By the time it reaches us, its energy has been diluted by time, its message softened by distance. What began as fierce radiation arrives as a faint murmur of light, barely perceptible, yet rich with information. Astronomers capture it with exquisite care, converting that faint signal into data, spectra, wavelengths, energy curves. From those ghostly imprints, they reconstruct the story of TON 618. The speed of its accretion disk, the temperature of its gas, the hunger of its core. Each photon carries within it a history written in the language of physics. Its wavelength tells us how far the universe has stretched since it was born. Its intensity tells us the violence of the source that made it. To study it is to hold a time capsule, a piece of ancient light that began its journey long before the Earth even formed. When we look through telescopes and see TON 618, we are not seeing it as it is, but as it was 10 billion years ago, when life on our planet was still unimagined, when our galaxy was young. We are witnessing the universe as it once existed, not as it exists now. This time delay is more than distance. It's a bridge through history. Every observation of TON 618 is a form of time travel, allowing us to peer into the early universe, to see how light, matter, and gravity interacted in their most primal forms. Its photons are storytellers, carrying the memory of creation and collapse across cosmic gulfs. And yet, for every photon that reaches us, countless others are lost, swallowed by dust, absorbed by gas, or bent beyond our line of sight. What we receive is a fraction of a fraction, a whisper of the true radiance that once was. And still, it is enough. That whisper reshapes our understanding of reality. It confirms the vastness of time, the persistence of light, and the endurance of the universe's oldest messengers. Each particle of light is proof that no distance is too great, no darkness too deep. The universe may expand, cool, and age, but its memories remain, encoded in these ancient travelers that continue to arrive long after their source has changed beyond recognition. Some of those photons, right now, are striking the sensors of telescopes orbiting Earth, transformed into streams of data. Others fall upon the retinas of astronomers, staring into the deep sky, merging with their vision and becoming thought, wonder, meaning. TON 618's light becomes part of human awareness, part of our story. To see it is to receive a message from the dawn of time, a message that says, even across billions of years, even from the heart of darkness, light endures. TON 618 lies near the edge of what we can ever see. It sits on the boundary between the known and the unknowable, a beacon from an era when the cosmos itself was still young. Every photon that reaches us from its distant quasar core has traveled for 10 billion years, crossing nearly the full span of the observable universe. To look at TON 618 is to peer across time itself, to stand at the shoreline of infinity and watch the final ripples of light before they vanish into cosmic night. The cosmic horizon marks the ultimate limit of sight, a boundary not of objects but of time. It is the point beyond which light has not had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang. The universe is expanding, and that expansion stretches both space and the light within it. The farther something lies, the faster it recedes, until its light is redshifted into invisibility. TON 618 exists just before that threshold, at a distance where its light barely escapes oblivion. Farther than this, there is only silence, a darkness not of absence, but of separation. This horizon is not a wall but a veil, a soft boundary where the visible universe gives way to the unseen. What lies beyond it still exists, but its light will never reach us. Even if we waited for eternity, the universe's expansion ensures that those regions will forever recede faster than light can travel. In a very real sense, TON 618 is one of the last messages we will ever receive from that faraway epoch, a final postcard from a cosmos already gone. It tells us of what once was, not what now is. By the time its light arrived here, entire galaxies near it may have changed, collided, or disappeared. What we see is a ghost, a luminous echo of an ancient universe, frozen in light. To stand beneath the night sky and consider this is to confront the most humbling truth of all. There is an edge to what we can know. No matter how powerful our telescopes become, no matter how advanced our instruments grow, there will always be a boundary, an invisible perimeter drawn by the finite speed of light and the relentless expansion of space. TON 618 reminds us that the cosmos is larger than our reach, that mystery is built into its very structure. Astronomers trace the cosmic horizon not with walls or lines but with data, maps of faint microwaves, relic radiation from the birth of everything. Beyond those signals, the universe's song fades into a note too low to hear. Space stretches, wavelengths elongate, and light becomes so diffuse it merges with the background hum of existence itself. Beyond TON 618, there may be more galaxies, more quasars, perhaps even other structures stranger than anything we know. But they exist in permanent exile, forever beyond our view. And yet, there is beauty in this limitation. The horizon is not an end, but a reminder that discovery always lives at the edge of comprehension. Every time we look outward, we also look backward, tracing the universe's story from its bright beginnings toward its deepening quiet. TON 618 stands as both a monument and a messenger, one of the last visible fires burning on the horizon of creation, a cosmic torch illuminating the vast gulf between what can be seen and what forever lies beyond. As the universe continues to expand, even this light will someday fade. Distant galaxies will drift out of view, their radiation stretched until it dissolves into nothingness. Future observers, billions of years from now, may see only darkness where we once saw brilliance. TON 618's glow will slip beneath the horizon, joining all that has passed into the unreachable. But for now, its light still shines, proof that even on the edge of visibility, existence speaks. The cosmic horizon may mark the limits of perception, but it also marks the beginning of wonder. Beyond it lies mystery, and perhaps that is the universe's final gift, that even when light ends, imagination continues. No theory fully explains it. Quantum mechanics and relativity, two pillars of science, crumble at its heart, demanding a new understanding of reality. TON 618 is not merely a celestial object, it is a contradiction incarnate, a place where our most trusted equations lose meaning. At its center lies the singularity, a point of infinite density where space and time collapse into something undefined. Einstein's general relativity describes how gravity warps spacetime. Yet at this scale, it predicts its own breakdown. Quantum mechanics, the theory that governs the smallest particles, offers no guidance here either. Together, they fail to coexist, a mathematical and philosophical impasse at the core of existence itself. The singularity inside TON 618 is not just a feature of extreme physics, it is a boundary of knowledge. Every force, every particle, every fundamental law that shapes the universe ceases to function in the way we understand. Gravity becomes infinite, time halts, and the very fabric of space-time folds upon itself. In this environment, cause and effect blur, energy and matter merge, and the concepts that once defined reality unravel into paradox. It is not simply that our equations fail to describe the singularity, it is that the singularity defies the very notion of description. Relativity paints an elegant picture of curved space-time, a seamless geometry where mass tells space how to curve and space tells mass how to move. But deep inside TON 618, curvature becomes so extreme that the model collapses. Space ceases to be continuous, time ceases to flow. The mathematics predicts infinities, distances of zero with infinite gravity, energy without boundaries. Nature, we believe, abhors infinity. And yet, here it is, sitting at the center of the most massive black hole we've ever known, mocking the limits of human thought. Quantum mechanics, meanwhile, tells another story. A world where particles flicker in and out of existence, where uncertainty reigns. It demands discreteness, that energy, matter, and space come in finite quanta. But when applied to TON 618's singularity, these rules collapse under their own contradictions. How can space have structure when it no longer exists? How can energy be measured when time itself has stopped? Physicists have tried to bridge this divide for nearly a century, seeking a grand unifying theory, a framework that merges the vastness of relativity with the granularity of quantum physics. But TON 618 stands as the ultimate challenge to that dream. Some theorists propose that inside the singularity, space-time does not end but transitions, perhaps into another universe, or another dimension of existence entirely. Others imagine a quantum foam, a seething chaos of probabilistic geometry, where space and time themselves fluctuate. String theory suggests that the singularity may not be a point at all, but a tangle of higher dimensional strings vibrating in unseeable dimensions. Loop quantum gravity, on the other hand, posits that space is made of tiny, discrete loops, atoms of space-time that prevent true infinity. But these are not answers. They are glimpses of possible truths. The reality remains veiled. For now, TON 618 is the ultimate proving ground for physics, a cosmic crucible in which all theories must either converge or collapse. It is both an object of study and a philosophical mirror, forcing us to ask what it means for something to exist when existence itself defies definition. When we say that the laws of physics break down, it is not merely a failure of calculation, it is the admission that our understanding of reality has limits. TON 618 marks that boundary, standing at the horizon of comprehension like a silent teacher, daring us to look deeper. Perhaps one day, with new theories and technologies, humanity will bridge this divide. We will find a language capable of describing both the infinite and the infinitesimal, the curvature of space-time and the flicker of the quantum. Until then, TON 618 remains an unanswered question written across the cosmos, a reminder that even in the age of reason, mystery still reigns. And maybe that is the point. The universe was never meant to be fully explained. It was meant to be explored. TON 618, where physics fails, is not the end of knowledge, it is where knowledge begins again. Over eons, even TON 618 will fade. When its fuel runs out, it will fall silent, radiating faint Hawking radiation as it slowly evaporates into nothing. This fate is not unique, it is the destiny of all black holes. The most powerful forces in the universe, born from collapse and chaos, will one day dissolve into the quiet hum of the cosmic background. What burns with unimaginable brilliance now will, in time, cool into obscurity. TON 618, once the brightest quasar in the night, will become a whisper in the void, a ghost of gravity fading across eternity. Black holes seem immortal, but they are not. According to Stephen Hawking's revolutionary insight in 1974, they are not truly black. Quantum effects at their horizons cause them to emit faint radiation, what we now call Hawking radiation. It's unimaginably weak, barely perceptible, but it exists. Over incomprehensible spans of time, this radiation robs a black hole of its mass, particle by particle, photon by photon. For smaller black holes, this evaporation happens faster. For TON 618, a behemoth over 60 billion times the Sun's mass, it will take far longer. In fact, its evaporation time is beyond any human concept of duration, 10 to the power of 100 years or more. That's a number so large it dwarfs even the lifetime of stars, galaxies, and perhaps the universe itself. But time has a way of erasing everything. Stars will die, galaxies will scatter, and matter will decay into a thin mist of elementary particles. In that distant future, black holes like TON 618 will be the final luminous objects, slowly shrinking, radiating their last energy into the cold, expanding dark. The light they emit in those final moments will be faint, but it will mark the end of an era, the closing chapter of cosmic structure. Imagine that scene, the universe, trillions upon trillions of years from now, long after every star has burned out. The night sky, if anyone or anything remained to see it, would be black, dotted only by the slow evaporation of ancient black holes. Each one would glow faintly in the infrared and microwave spectrum, their dying breath illuminating the emptiness around them. TON 618, once a cosmic giant that devoured galaxies, would have dwindled to a whisper of energy, a flicker in the void. Then, finally, it too would vanish, its mass converted entirely into radiation, its horizon collapsing inward until there is nothing left to collapse. What remains after that? Only the faint background of entropy, the residue of existence itself. No matter, no light, no structure, just the slow, inevitable approach to thermodynamic equilibrium, the heat death of the universe. In that timeless silence, even memory will fade. Every atom that once belonged to stars, planets, or life will be gone, diffused into nothingness. Ton 618, the greatest black hole we've ever known, will leave behind no monument, no relic, only the echo of what once was. And yet, there's beauty in that inevitability. The fact that even something so colossal, so seemingly eternal, obeys the same laws as everything else in the cosmos. Entropy spares no one, not even the titans of gravity. In this way, Ton 618 is a mirror of the universe's fate, a reminder that creation and destruction are not opposites, but partners in an endless cycle. The energy that once fell into it will, one day, return to the cosmos in a different form. What was once concentrated into a single point will again become infinite, diffused across all that remains. Some physicists have speculated that the story might not end there. Perhaps black holes don't simply evaporate into nothing, but leave behind a quantum remnant, a speck of information that refuses to die. Others suggest that the end of one black hole could seed the birth of another universe, each collapse giving rise to a new beginning. If that's true, Ton 618's death might not be an ending, but a transformation, a doorway through which reality continues. But from where we stand now, looking across 10 billion years of light, that ending feels like poetry written in slow motion. A cosmic candle that burns for eons, destined to go out but never forgotten. Ton 618 reminds us that even the mightiest things fade, that time itself will have the final word. And when that last whisper of radiation escapes into the void, carrying the final memory of a fallen giant, the universe will exhale. The silence that follows will not be emptiness, it will be completion. Yet, its gravity will have shaped billions of stars. Its presence will echo through the galaxies it once fed, its legacy written into cosmic structure. Even after the light ceases to shine, the universe will retain memory of what was, a map traced in the arcs of orbiting gas, in the curves of galactic arms, in the lingering glow of ancient quasars. Ton 618 may vanish from sight, but its influence cannot be erased. The cosmos carries its fingerprints in the distribution of matter, in the rhythm of cosmic expansion, in the way dark matter and ordinary matter have intertwined across billions of years. The memory of such a colossal object is not abstract. It is tangible in the very patterns that astronomers chart. The subtle variations in cosmic microwave background radiation, the gravitational lensing that bends light around empty voids, each galaxy that rotates, each star that forms, each cluster of matter held together across unimaginable distances, carries a trace of that past. In a sense, the universe is a ledger, meticulously recording the existence of everything that has ever held sway over it. The dance of gravity leaves no step unmarked. And yet, there is a quiet melancholy to this memory. Ton 618 is a reminder that even the mightiest objects are transient. Stars explode, galaxies collide, black holes evaporate through the faint whisper of Hawking radiation. Time erodes all things, but even in decay, there is resonance. The universe remembers not in sentiment, but in structure. A cosmic event may vanish from direct observation, but its consequences ripple outward, shaping the paths of countless stars, determining where new light will emerge and where darkness will deepen. To gaze upon the space it once occupied is to look into a mirror of history. We see light that departed when the universe was young, photons that have traveled billions of years to reach us. Each beam carries information, a record of the environment it passed through, a story of a gravitational titan that influenced its trajectory. Through sophisticated telescopes, We can reconstruct that history, peeling back layers of time like the pages of a vast, celestial manuscript. And though TON 618 itself may seem unreachable, its fingerprints are everywhere, guiding matter, shaping galaxies, influencing the cosmic architecture of which we are a tiny part. In a universe that forgets nothing, every massive object leaves a legacy. The largest black holes, like TON 618, serve as anchors, organizing their surroundings, dictating the formation of stars and the flow of interstellar material. Their influence extends far beyond the void they create. It manifests in the very blueprint of galactic evolution. And as observers, we are allowed a fleeting glimpse of that history, an opportunity to read the story written in the curvature of space, in the velocity of stars, in the luminous echoes that survive eons. Even as new phenomena arise and new galaxies ignite with fresh energy, the memory of TON 618 endures. It reminds us that the universe is a place of permanence and impermanence intertwined, a record of forces that shape existence long after the actors themselves have vanished. Its gravity may no longer pull on the present, but the cosmos itself is a living archive, and in its memory, TON 618 lives on, forever inscribed in the fabric of space-time. Even when it's gone, its light, the light it once devoured, will continue to travel forever, crossing universes we will never reach. Every photon expelled from the maelstrom of TON 618 carries with it a story, a history of extreme gravity and unimaginable energy. These streams of light are cosmic travelers, stretching across billions of light-years, unaffected by the passage of time in the way we experience it. Though the black hole itself is a region of darkness, it paradoxically creates a beacon whose glow will outlive the star systems that formed it and the galaxies it once called home. This light, stretched and reddened by the expansion of the universe, becomes more than just illumination. It becomes a chronicle. By the time it reaches distant observers, it is no longer raw energy, but a message encoded in wavelength and intensity, carrying information about the environment it traversed. We can read this message with our telescopes, piecing together the violent history of matter spiraling into oblivion. In its travel, the light passes through cosmic gas clouds, skirts the edges of dark matter, and bends around massive galaxies. Each interaction subtly alters it, leaving fingerprints that reveal the structure and motion of the universe itself. And yet, despite the journey's grandeur, it is profoundly silent. No sound accompanies these photons. The universe whispers in frequencies beyond human perception. What we witness as light is only a fraction of the story, a spectral trace of events that transpired when the cosmos was young. This ghostly illumination reminds us that the universe is a place where absence can be as telling as presence. The black hole consumes relentlessly, yet even in consumption, it allows a remnant, a spectral echo, to escape. It is a paradox of destruction and persistence, of darkness giving rise to memory. The light that emerges from such titanic forces is different from the warmth of a sun or the glow of a nebula. It is extreme, energetic, and fleeting in human terms. Yet it endures in cosmic terms. It is a ghost in the truest sense. Both a presence and an absence. A witness to forces beyond comprehension. Across the void, it may one day reach a distant galaxy, collide with a particle, or be absorbed by another cosmic structure, leaving behind subtle alterations, a ripple in space-time that whispers of a time when TON 618 ruled its corner of the universe. In a sense, every photon that escapes a black hole's influence becomes immortal. Unlike the black hole itself, which may slowly evaporate over eons, this light continues indefinitely, traveling through expanding space. It connects distant points of the universe in a network of history and energy, allowing future observers, perhaps far beyond our own civilization, to witness a relic of cosmic fury. Even if no one ever sees it, the light persists, a cosmic memory that refuses to fade. The ghost of light is both terrifying and beautiful, a testament to the universe's extremes, a reminder that nothing truly disappears. TON 618 may one day vanish entirely, leaving only darkness in its immediate vicinity, but its light, its legacy, will continue forever. Across the void, it stretches endlessly, a spectral thread connecting the past, present, and the unreachably distant future. And as it journeys on, it ensures that even in the heart of oblivion, the universe remembers. Every discovery brings us closer to the limits of knowledge. TON 618 isn't just an object, it's a question that refuses to be answered. It is the embodiment of nature's extremes, a reminder that even our most advanced instruments and theories can only touch the surface of reality. We can measure its mass, trace the path of its light, calculate the speed of matter spiraling into its event horizon, but these facts are fragments, incomplete glimpses of something fundamentally unknowable. The black hole challenges our assumptions, forcing us to confront the idea that the universe may always have corners beyond comprehension. Humanity has a natural urge to categorize, to explain, to find certainty in chaos. Yet, TON 618 mocks that desire. Every piece of data raises more questions than it answers. How did it grow so massive, so quickly, in a young universe still forming its first stars? What mechanisms allowed it to consume matter at such phenomenal rates without tearing the cosmos apart? How does it interact with the invisible scaffolding of dark matter or influence the expansion of space itself? The deeper we probe, the more the edges of understanding stretch before us, like the event horizon itself, a boundary we can approach but never cross. To observe TON 618 is to stand at the border of knowledge. Light that left its vicinity over 10 billion years ago carries encoded truths. Yet even with modern technology, we can only interpret them partially. We see gravitational effects, the remnants of quasar activity, subtle patterns in the cosmic microwave background, hints of phenomena that strain the limits of physics. In this way, TON 618 is more than a black hole. It is a mirror held up to human curiosity, reflecting both the brilliance of our discoveries and the humility that accompanies true understanding. Science advances by confronting the unknown, by pushing boundaries, but some questions may remain permanently unanswered. TON 618 exists at the intersection of physics and philosophy, a place where equations meet wonder, where certainty collides with mystery. It forces us to consider that knowledge is not infinite, that the universe has walls of incomprehensibility, that even the brightest minds may never scale. And yet, this limitation is not failure. It is a frontier, an invitation to explore, to imagine, to extend the reach of inquiry further than ever before. Standing on this edge, we also glimpse the beauty of imperfection. Our understanding may be incomplete, our theories provisional, yet the act of discovery itself is profound. TON 618 teaches patience, awe, and the importance of questions over answers. Every measurement, every observation, every faint photon detected is a small victory in the face of cosmic enormity. And as we accumulate knowledge, we build a bridge to the unknown, layer by layer, reaching toward comprehension that may always lie just out of grasp. TON 618 is thus both a destination and a horizon. It is the apex of mass and energy, a celestial titan, but it is also the embodiment of limits, the ultimate question that evades closure. In contemplating it, we confront not only the mechanics of the universe, but also the boundaries of our own understanding. And perhaps that is the true lesson. The universe is not merely to be known, but to be experienced, approached with humility, reverence, and endless curiosity. In the shadow of TON 618, we see the infinite frontier, a place where knowledge ends and wonder begins. Somewhere deep inside human curiosity lies the desire to know, to see what lies beyond the horizon, even if it means never coming back. It is a longing that has driven explorers to sail across unknown oceans, astronauts to venture into the void, and scientists to push instruments to their limits in search of answers. TON 618 represents the ultimate horizon, a boundary that no human, or even light itself, can truly cross. To imagine falling into it is to confront the absolute, to surrender to a force so immense that time and space themselves bend and stretch beyond comprehension. This dream is not merely about danger, it is about discovery. The black hole embodies the allure of the unknown, the thrill of witnessing phenomena that defy conventional understanding. To fall in, even hypothetically, is to experience gravity at its purest, to see the universe compressed into a singularity of infinite density. It is a journey that no probe could survive, no theory could fully describe, yet it captivates the imagination. TON 618 becomes a symbol of the human urge to confront limits, to probe boundaries, and to imagine realities beyond the reach of ordinary experience. Even without physically crossing the event horizon, the dream persists in our minds. We attempt to simulate the experience through mathematics, through computer models, through artistic representation. We imagine the warping of time, the stretching of light, the strange geometry of a place where classical laws of physics collapse. In doing so, we glimpse not only the behavior of matter and energy, but the edges of our own understanding. Curiosity and courage intertwined, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge often demands an embrace of the unknown, even if the cost is incomprehensible. There is a profound beauty in this surrender to mystery. TON 618 draws everything toward it, yet its existence inspires creation, new theories, new questions, new paths of exploration. The desire to fall in is a metaphor for humanity's relationship with the cosmos, a willingness to risk certainty for insight, to trade comfort for wonder, to chase knowledge that may forever remain just beyond reach. It is a dream that speaks to something primal within us, an acknowledgement that the universe is vast, indifferent, and awe-inspiring. In contemplating TON 618, we also confront the limits of our mortality. No one will survive an actual fall into a black hole, yet the imagination allows us to experience a version of it. We can witness the extremes of gravity, the distortion of time, and the interplay of light and shadow from the safe distance of observation. This dream bridges human curiosity with cosmic reality, a meditation on the tension between desire and impossibility. It teaches patience, humility, and the boundless potential of imagination. Ultimately, the dream of falling in is not about destruction, but about transcendence. It is the recognition that some horizons are meant to be approached, not crossed, that some mysteries exist to expand the mind rather than to be contained. TON 618 represents the ultimate journey of this kind, a force that consumes, a light that escapes, and a question that can never be fully answered. And in daring to imagine ourselves falling into its depths, we affirm the essence of human curiosity, an unyielding drive to reach for the infinite, to gaze into the abyss, and to find, in the very act of wondering, a universe alive with possibility. Perhaps, somewhere out there, another intelligence looks at TON 618 from across time and asks the same question we do. Why does it exist at all? In the vast silence between galaxies, across billions of light years, the cosmos holds its mysteries in quiet grandeur. The light that reaches us from TON 618 is ancient, a record of forces that shaped the early universe, and it may also serve as a message to beings we will never meet. Every photon carries a story, and in that story, intelligence, curious and reflective, might find itself confronting the same questions that have haunted humanity since we first looked up at the stars. The notion that the universe observes in some way is not metaphorical. It is a reminder of reciprocity between observer and observed. The cosmos responds to the presence of life capable of questioning it, not in a conscious sense, but through the record it leaves behind. Gravity, light, and matter are indifferent, yet they encode their histories in structures that any sufficiently advanced observer could read. TON 618, the supermassive black hole and quasar, becomes a kind of cosmic mirror. Its formation, its energy, its sheer scale reflect the complexity of physical law, but also the universality of curiosity itself. Across unimaginable distances, the same patterns of wonder may arise, echoing across the void. To consider that another mind might be observing TON 618 is to expand our sense of significance. It is a humbling thought. We are not the sole interpreters of the cosmos. Perhaps there is a civilization orbiting a distant star in a galaxy far removed from our own, watching light from our corner of the universe, measuring gravitational waves, and theorizing about what lies beyond the horizon. The questions we ask about origins, meaning, and structure are not unique. They are a natural product of consciousness in a universe that is vast, complex, and beautifully indifferent. In this way, TON 618 becomes more than a quasar. It is a common reference point, a shared puzzle for any intelligence capable of wonder. Yet there is also loneliness in this reflection. The universe is so vast that even the fastest light takes billions of years to traverse the distances between galaxies. The intelligence that might observe TON 618 could never communicate with us, never share insights, never answer our questions. In this cosmic dialogue, there is silence, yet it is a meaningful silence, a space in which observation, reflection, and understanding can exist independently. TON 618 itself is a participant in this silent exchange, a monumental witness to events long past, a reminder that the universe preserves memory even when its actors are gone. The act of observing is, in itself, an affirmation of existence. By contemplating TON 618, we participate in a dialogue that transcends time, connecting past, present, and potential observers in the distant future. Every measurement, every image, every calculation becomes part of the cosmic ledger, a record that others might read in epochs we cannot imagine. And perhaps, in the same way, we are being watched, not as individuals, but as conscious beings reaching out toward the infinite, striving to understand a universe that holds both the questions and the answers, yet never fully reveals either. TON 618, in its immense and silent grandeur, reminds us that curiosity is universal. The universe may watch back, not with intent, but with the impartiality of a system that records, reflects, and preserves. And in that reflection, across the gulf of space and the stretch of time, we recognize ourselves as participants in a cosmic story that is both profoundly intimate and incomprehensibly vast, a story in which observation and wonder are threads that bind intelligence to the universe itself. TON 618 teaches us that even in the deepest darkness, there is light. That destruction and creation are two sides of the same cosmic breath. At first glance, a supermassive black hole seems like the ultimate symbol of nothingness, a void where matter, energy, and light itself vanish. Yet this apparent emptiness conceals a paradox. From its heart of darkness radiates energy so immense that it illuminates the universe across billions of light years. In consuming stars, gas, and dust, TON 618 transforms destruction into brilliance, chaos into a pattern that we can observe, measure, and try to understand. Darkness, in this cosmic sense, is not merely absence. It is a process, a stage in a cycle of transformation. As matter plunges into the black hole, it releases enormous energy, accelerating particles to near light speed and emitting radiation that becomes visible across the cosmos. Quasars like TON 618 are among the brightest objects in existence precisely because of the darkness at their center. They remind us that even the most consuming voids can produce wonder, that endings carry within them the seeds of revelation, and that destruction is often inseparable from creation. TON 618 also teaches us humility in the face of scale. Its gravitational pull is so extreme that conventional physics reaches its limits. Time stretches, space curves, and familiar rules dissolve near the event horizon. Yet this same extreme creates conditions that shape the surrounding galaxy, regulate star formation, and distribute elements essential for life. In darkness, structure emerges. In obliteration, a blueprint for cosmic evolution is written. TON 618 is a reminder that even what seems absolute and final is part of a greater rhythm. A universal breath of giving and taking, consuming and illuminating. The light escaping TON 618 carries another lesson: perspective. To distant observers, the black hole is a lantern, revealing processes we could never witness up close. Its brilliance tells a story of transformation, a narrative of extremes where the most violent events create the most profound signals. In a way, darkness is the canvas upon which light paints the history of the universe. Without the black hole's insatiable appetite, there would be no quasar light to trace, no cosmic fingerprints to decode, no revelations about the energy, matter, and forces shaping galaxies. And beyond physics, TON 618 offers a philosophical lesson. Darkness is not the absence of meaning, but the space in which meaning is revealed. It teaches that endings are beginnings, that gravity's appetite is also a force of creation, and that every obliteration leaves a trace, a memory, a story written in the motions of stars and the paths of photons traveling across time. The black hole becomes a metaphor. Even when all seems lost, there is illumination. Even in the void, there is a narrative, and even destruction carries the potential for wonder. Ultimately, TON 618 embodies the unity of opposites. Its darkness and light, consumption and creation, silence and radiance are inseparable. To understand it is to grasp the paradox of existence itself, that the universe's most terrifying forces also give rise to its most extraordinary phenomena. And in its shadow, we are reminded that meaning is not found in emptiness alone, but in the interplay of darkness and light, in the cosmic breath that carries the story of everything that ever was and ever will be. To gaze upon TON 618 is to face infinity itself, and to realize that the same forces shaping galaxies also live within us. Every atom in our bodies was forged in stars long vanished, bound by the same gravity that stirs the black hole's heart. The hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and iron that compose our very cells were once part of cosmic furnaces, subjected to the pressures and temperatures that allow stars to ignite and die. In that sense, we are not separate from the universe. We are a continuation of its processes, a living reflection of the same forces that govern the most extreme objects in existence. Gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces dictate both the formation of stars and the structure of molecules in our cells. The same pull that shapes the accretion disk around TON 618 also guides the orbit of planets and the flow of blood in our veins. The black hole's immense energy releases light that can outshine entire galaxies, while the energy within each of our cells sustains life on a far smaller, yet no less remarkable scale. To witness TON 618 is to be reminded that scale is relative. The universe's rules apply from the colossal to the minuscule, binding together galaxies and humans in an elegant, invisible web. In every photon that reaches our telescopes, there is a story of both cosmic history and connection. That light left TON 618 billions of years ago, carrying information about forces and matter beyond imagination. And yet, the same principles that created that light also allowed planets to form, oceans to exist, and life to emerge. The black hole's brilliance is mirrored in the starlight, reflected in our eyes, in the chemical reactions that animate our brains, and in the energy that fuels thought and curiosity. Observing the distant quasar is, in essence, observing ourselves, a recognition that the cosmos and consciousness are intertwined. TON 618 also teaches patience and perspective. Its light has traveled billions of years to reach us, a reminder of both the vastness of space and the enduring nature of the universe. Just as it has shaped galaxies over eons, the universe shapes life in subtle ways, assembling matter, energy, and chance into forms capable of understanding. Each of us carries the history of stars within, and in doing so, participates in the ongoing story of creation and transformation. The infinite is not only out there, it is also within, written into the atomic structure of our being, encoded in the patterns of energy that sustain life. Ultimately, The contemplation of Ton 618 is an invitation to humility and wonder. It reminds us that our lives, though brief on cosmic timescales, are intimately connected to the forces that govern the universe. We are part of an immense story in which black holes, stars, galaxies, and life are all expressions of the same laws. To gaze upon Ton 618 is to confront both the enormity of the cosmos and the infinitesimal yet profound complexity within ourselves. It is a reminder that we are made of the universe, that the infinite is reflected in the smallest particle, and that, in understanding the cosmos, we understand a part of who we are. In the end, Ton 618 is not just a distant black hole, it is a mirror, a teacher, and a bridge, linking the unimaginable vastness of space with the intimate reality of life. To behold it is to witness infinity, and to feel, in every atom of our being, the eternal connection between ourselves and the universe. Quiet now, breathe in once, slowly, and let the image of Ton 618 fade into the soft dark at the back of your mind. We began at the edge of everything, a titan so vast its mass stretches the words meant to describe it. We lingered at its blazing accretion disk, watched rivers of light spin and fall, and felt the tug of relativistic jets that slice through space like cosmic lighthouses. We stepped to the event horizon and discovered how time itself loosens and lengthens, minutes becoming ages, ages folding into a single, hush-filled instant. We imagined the singularity, that impossibly small, unknowable heart where our equations sputter and new questions take root. We traced the story of creation and collapse, galaxies colliding, gravity sculpting order from chaos, and photons carrying messages across 10 billion years to reach us here, tonight. These are not only facts to file away, they are a quiet invitation. Ton 618 is both a marvel of scale and a mirror. It shows how tiny our daily concerns are and how spectacularly alive the universe remains. It reminds us that curiosity is sacred, that our desire to know unspools the cosmos into meaning, and that even the darkest things can teach us to be humble and grateful. So, as you settle deeper, let gratitude rise, for the chance to witness such grandeur, for the small warm breath in your chest, for the mind that can imagine jets and horizons and ancient light. Let these thoughts soften into a steady rhythm, wonder, acceptance, sleep. If this journey eased your mind tonight, a gentle like or a quiet subscribe helps more people find these same small moments of awe. Until our next quiet voyage among the stars, rest easy. Let the universe hold you now, soft, steady, and endlessly vast. Good night.